Chapter 2500. 2500 Under the news of 2,500 green moons. What? What are you doing? You heartless bastard. What are you trying to do? The Empress could feel the cold murderous aura from Wang Xian's body. Her already pale face turned even paler as she yelled at him incoherently in fear. How did you get this piece of flesh? At this moment, Wang Xian's eyes were a little red as he stared at her coldly. Wang Xian could feel Xiao Lan's aura from this piece of greyish flesh. How could Xiao Lan's flesh be in her hands? What was the current situation of Qingyu Lingxiu and the rest? This was given to me by someone else. What are you going to do? The Empress' expression changed as she stared at Wang Xian and asked coldly, "Who gave it to you?" Wang Xian stared at her coldly and questioned her. "Yes, Sister Lan Qingyu and Sister Sun Lingxiu gave it to me. This is the flesh of their space beast pets. What has it got to do with you?" The Empress' expression turned gloomy as she spoke to him. "Qingyu, Lingxiu." When Wang Xian heard what she said, he could tell from her eyes that she was not lying. The murderous aura around her vanished instantly. How did you know Qingyu and Lingxiu? Where are they now?" Wang Xian looked at her and grabbed her arm. His voice softened a little. "Let go of me first." Di Xingyu stared at Wang Xian angrily. "Phew, I'm sorry. I lost my composure. Lan Qingyu and Sun Lingxiu are very important people to me." Wang Xian took a deep breath and apologized to Celestial Lady. "Enchantment." Celestial Lady snorted in dissatisfaction. "About a year ago, when Aunt Ying and I were preparing to capture the towering snake space beast, we met them in a patch of space. At that time, Sister Lan Qingyu and Sun Lingxiu were being hunted down. Aunt Ying saved them. At that time, they had an immortal king level 3 space beast. At that time, she said that there was nothing to repay us, so she gave us this piece of flesh. They said that this piece of flesh could attract the space beast, just like what they said. Then, do you know where they are now? Do you know where they went?" Wang Xian asked nervously. "I don't know, but they should be safe now. Auntie Ying said that their void beasts are very powerful, much more powerful than the towering snake." The Imperial Star Lady replied. "Then do you know who is chasing after them?" Wang Xian's expression changed. He took a deep breath and continued to ask her, "Why should I tell you? Based on your attitude just now, Chimph." Di Xingyu looked at him with displeasure. "I can give you the towering snake space beast immediately. If you need any help in the future, I will not decline. Even if I have to offend a powerful force, my Dragon Palace is willing to help." Wang Xian stared at him and promised with a serious face. "You?" Di Xingyu was slightly stunned. She looked at Wang Xian in astonishment. This fellow actually said such word. "You, who are they to you?" Di Xingyu looked at him with some doubt. Wang Xian did not reply. He reached out to take the flesh in her hand and sensed it. "It's our Dragon Queen. You saved our Dragon Queen. Our Dragon Palace will repay you." Ao Yaro looked at their Dragon King and said softly, "Dragon Queen? Dragon King? Both of them?" Chimph, a playboy. Di Xingyu was stunned for a moment before she curled her lip. "It's good that you're all right." Wang Xian sensed Xiao Lan's flesh. He could vaguely sense that Xiao Lan was still alive. As long as Xiao Lan was still alive, Qingyu and Lingxiu would be fine. "Thank you for saving Qingyu and the rest back then." Wang Xian thanked Di Xingyu. "Chimph, just don't think about killing me. Di Xingn, you didn't give him any face at all. I'll help you tame the towering snake space beast. Within a year, I'll help you raise it to level 5 immortal king." Wang Xian waved his arm and the towering snake space beast appeared beside him. "Are you serious?" Emperor Star Lady's eyes sparkled as she stared at him and said, "You guys saved Qingyu Lingxiu and the rest. Our Dragon Palace owes you a favor. Don't worry, we won't lie to you." Wang Xian said directly. "That's more like it." Emperor Star Lady's expression turned good. "I'll go tame the 5 immortal king desolate beasts first." Wang Xian looked to the side and saw that the 5 immortal king desolate beasts had been suppressed by Ao Crab. He immediately flew over. Immortal King level 5. Empress Star Lady looked at Aohe, who was suppressing the 5 Immortal King desolate beasts, her eyes gleaming. Her Aunt Ying was only at Immortal King level 6, and this Dragon King's underling had already reached Immortal King level 5. This was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that this Dragon Palace gave her a strange and unfathomable feeling. Raising the towering snake space beast to Immortal King level 5 in a year, when that time came, who in the entire Emperor Starfield would dare to compete with her? He was almost 100% sure that he could enter the Imperial Court's Divine Kingdom. Taming the level 4 Immortal King level desolate beast took some time. After an hour, the 5 Immortal King level desolate beasts were completely tamed. After removing the formation, he ordered them to leave immediately. "Come, I'll help you tame the towering snake space beast," Wang Xian said to Di Xing-En, who was beside him. "All right." Di Xing-En naturally wouldn't reject him. She immediately nodded her head. She had spent too much time and money for this towering snake space beast. Miss. Aunt Ying flew over at this moment. She looked at Wang Xian in surprise and her gaze landed on Di Xing-En. "Aunt Ying, do you still remember the 2 girls that we saved a year ago? Sister Lan Qingyu, son Lingxiu, and the rest. They are this bastard's women, the Dragon Queen of the Dragon Palace. He said that the Dragon Palace will repay our kindness. He has helped me tame this snake, and he will also help me raise to undying level 5 within a year. Other than that, this bastard also said that if I need any help in the future, he will definitely not decline, even if it's against a powerful organization." Emperor Star Lady seemed to have released all the grievances she had suffered over the past few months, her face full of happiness as she said to Aunt Ying, "This." Aunt Ying was completely stunned. How did such a change happen all of a sudden? The 2 women from the space behemoth a year ago were the Dragon Queen of the Dragon Palace? The Dragon King's women? Aunt Ying was a little stunned. She didn't expect such a coincidence. The corner of Wang Xian's mouth twitched when he heard the Empress address him so brazenly. "I won't argue with this little woman," he thought to himself. "Oh right, do you guys know the strength of the people who chased after Qingyu and the rest back then?" Wang Xian raised his head and looked at Di Xing-Er, Aunt Ying, and the rest. "It seems to be a second-rate top force. It seems to be called Tianya, a force close to the central region." Aunt Ying thought for a moment and replied, "Tianya?" Wang Xian mumbled as a cold glint flashed in his eyes. Chapter 2501. 2501 2501 Desolate Beast Nest, Undying God Country. Hiss hiss hiss. Success, success. Within the Lawman Desolate Beast Garden, the towering snake was swallowing and spitting its head. Beside it, Emperor Star Lady was looking excitedly at the space beast in front of her. The towering snake used its head to gently lean against her. Its intimate expression made her extremely excited. Space Beast, an undying level 3 space beast, with its potential, it could grow to the pinnacle undying level. Once this towering snake space beast reached the peak, her status would be greatly enhanced. With the characteristics of the towering snake space beast, no one below the Void God Emperor was her match. She would not be bullied by anyone in the Imperial Court. Her mother would also rise. "Congratulations, young miss." "Thank you, Dragon King." Auntie Ying also walked over with a smile on her face. She thanked Wang Xian and looked at her. "At least you have some conscience." Di Xingnu was also very happy and excited. She looked at Wang Xian and raised her head slightly. "Hee hee." Wang Xian smiled. "You said that I'm your benefactor. I'm going back now. I won't serve you anymore." Imperial Star Lady raised her head proudly like a farmer who had turned over a new leaf as she spoke to Wang Xian. When Wang Xian heard her words and saw her smug look, his face turned a little black. "Well, Star Lady Beauty, if I want to help you raise the Choo-Choo Snake to Immortal King level 4 or even level 5, I need to capture and tame the desolate beasts and sell them to obtain a large amount of resources. If you are not willing to help me tame the desolate beasts now, I don't have the confidence to raise it to level 4 or even level 5 within a year or 2. Wang Xian said to the Empress Star Lady with a black face. Didn't you say that you want to help the vertical snake to Immortal King level 5? The Empress Star Lady was slightly stunned when she heard his words and said in dissatisfaction, "That is under the condition of being able to tame the desolate beasts. You have also seen how fast I can tame the desolate beasts. Now that I can't obtain too many desolate beasts, I don't have the confidence." Wang Xian shook his head. "You rascal, are you going to put it bluntly, or do you want me to be your bait?" Di Xingyu's expression started to change as she said with uncertainty, "It's a collaboration. In the future, if you manage to tame a lot of battle pets, I can give you an immortal king level 4 battle pet. A level 5 battle pet wouldn't be a problem. Think about it. Taking out a space beast battle pet and an immortal king level 4 or 5 battle pet, how cool is that?" Wang Xian said with a smile on his face. "You are really not a good person." A few seconds later, the Imperial Star Lady gritted her teeth and glared at Wang Xian as she said that. However, what this fellow said was too tempting. She was only one of her father's thousands of children. If she did not have some influence now, she might not be able to see her father even once in more than 10 years. Furthermore, her mother was not favored by her father. If she had a place in the imperial court with her own strength, her father would have a huge change to her and her mother in the future. You can use this piece of flesh to attract the desolate beasts. This way, it might be faster. Wang Xian smiled faintly. "Chimpate." She snorted softly with a face full of displeasure. "Ao Yao, continue to search for the desolate beasts in the surroundings." Wang Xian ordered Ao Yao and the rest. "It's the Dragon King." Ao Yao and the rest nodded and disappeared in the next moment. On the side, Auntie Ying was trying her best to sense the silhouettes of Ao Yao and the rest. A hint of shock flashed across her eyes. The central area of the Lerman Desolate Beast Park was obviously different from the outer area. Those who could occupy the central area were either powerful desolate beasts above level 3 Immortal King level, or a few Immortal King desolate beast races. In less than an hour, Ao Yao received news that the 4 Immortal King desolate beast races were all level 2 Immortal King. "Let's go," Wang Xian said to Di Xingyu. "Got it." Di Xingyu's body moved and immediately flew towards the desolate beast. Roar roar roar. This time, because Di Xingyu took out Xiaolan's special piece of flesh from time to time, the 4 undying godly monarch desolate beasts chased after them crazily. 2 hours later, the 4 undying godly monarch desolate beasts entered the formation and were easily tamed. Continue. After taming the 4 desolate beasts again, Wang Xian put them back while Ao Yao and the rest continued their search. Roar, 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 roar. However, more than 10 minutes later, the center of the entire Lorman Desolate Beast Park seemed to be boiling. Terrifying roars could be heard one after another. The sounds shook the heaven and earth. The entire sky seemed to have undergone a terrifying change. Hey! Wang Xian was slightly shocked. He immediately flew towards the sky. "This is..." Auntie Ying, who was beside him, also flew into the sky and stared ahead in astonishment. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Hovering in the sky, Wang Xian looked towards the sky and sensed waves of terrifying energy. In the distance, a huge crack appeared in the void. The crack looked extremely terrifying. Waves of wild and pure energy came from within the crack. Within the crack, it seemed to contain a space. "This is the Immortal King Divine Kingdom. It should be the Immortal King Divine Kingdom of the Desolate Beast." Aunt Ying stared at that area and said in astonishment. "The energy inside feels very strong, at least level 6 Immortal King." Wang Xian looked ahead and said in astonishment. "Not only that, it's the lair of level 7 Immortal King Desolate Beast." Beside her, Aunt Ying's eyes were sparkling as she said, "Roar roar roar, peng peng peng." Just as she finished her sentence, a terrifying collision suddenly erupted in front of them. "There's someone." Wang Xian was slightly shocked. Someone was fighting with the desolate beast there. It should be the lair of an Immortal King level 7 desolate beast. That desolate beast might have already fallen. Its divine kingdom has attracted the attention of other desolate beasts and humans. Aunt Ying guessed from the side. The lair of an Immortal King level 7 desolate beast. There must be many treasures there. "Aunt Ying, shall we go and take a look?" Emperor Star Lady immediately said, "The treasures in the desolate beast divine kingdom are usually much less than humans. Furthermore, there are already people there. I can't make a move." Aunt Ying shook her head. "I'll go and take a look." Wang Xian hesitated for a moment and said to the Emperor Star Lady and the rest, "I'll go too." The Emperor Star Lady also said to Wang Xian with great interest and followed closely behind. "Miss, don't expose your identity." Aunt Ying shook her head helplessly and hid at the back. Boom, boom, boom. Wang Xian, Emperor Star Lady and the rest got closer. There were sounds of collisions coming from the front. The laws tore through the void and the immortal king desolate beasts let out furious roars. When they flew over, there were still many desolate beasts fleeing in panic from the depth. Hey! There are so many immortal king desolate beasts and there are so many humans over there. No, that doesn't seem to be humans. Wang Xian and the rest got closer. When they saw the situation in front of them, they narrowed their eyes slightly. Chapter 2502. 2502 2502 Desolate Beast Lair under the Undying God Country. That's the Heaven Fey race. They should be the same as your subordinates. In the sky above the Lawman Desolate Beast Garden, Emperor Star Lady looked at the group of people fighting against the desolate beasts and said, "The so-called Heaven Fey race was the Fey Beast race. They had their own intelligence and could transform into humans. Many Heaven Fey and humans lived together, and many Fey beasts and humans coexisted peacefully. In front of them, there were many Heaven Fey experts fighting with the desolate beast. Heaven Fey were bloodline cultivators, they had their own upper limits, and according to the bloodline experts, they would determine the strength of the Heaven Fey. There's an Undying God King level 6 Heaven Fey fighting with an Undying God King level 6 Desolate Beast." At that moment, Emperor Star Lady pointed to a spot and said in shock, "A level 6 Immortal King Warrior could be considered a powerful warrior in any region. It should be to fight for the Immortal God Country." Wang Xian muttered. His body moved and he came to the side. There were about 30 Heaven Fey. From level 1 to level 6 Immortal King Warriors, there was only one level 6 warrior who was fighting with a desolate beast of the same level. The rest of the Heaven Fey controlled the desolate beasts, approaching the Undying God King level 7 Desolate Beast God Country. However, this group of desolate beasts were not much weaker than them, constantly attacking the group. At the back, there were over 1,000 Godlord disciples below Undying God King. They stared ahead with ugly expressions. "Think of a way to enter. We cannot wait any longer, or more and more powerful desolate beasts will be attracted." In the sky, an Undying God King level 5 warrior looked around with an ugly expression as he roared at everyone. "The desolate beasts are not weak either. It will be hard for us to enter. That damned desolate beast actually summoned so many underlings." Someone beside him replied with an ugly expression, "We have to enter. It wasn't easy for us to find this opportunity. These damn desolate beast." The group of Heaven Fey were filled with anger. It was not easy for them to find such an opportunity, but they were discovered by the desolate beasts here. If they continued fighting, they might attract more desolate beasts. When that time came, it would be difficult for them to get rid of this Immortal King level 7 Desolate Beast Divine Kingdom. Immortal King level 7 Desolate Beast Divine Kingdom. Wang Xian looked over and his eyes were burning. If he could obtain this Immortal God Country, Ao Crab's strength could reach the level of an Immortal King level 6. Even if the treasures in the Desolate Beast Lair were not as many as humans, an Immortal King level 7 Desolate Beast would definitely be at the level of a king in the Lulman Desolate Beast Park. There should be many treasures in its lair. They are fighting. Can we reap the benefits? Empress Star looked at the Heaven Demon Desolate Beast that was entangled with each other and said to Wang Xian with sparkling eyes, "This chance is very small. Unless you get Aunt Ying to make a move." Wang Xian scanned his surroundings and said to Empress Star, "No, we can't expose our identities." Empress Star shook her head. Wang Xian stared ahead with a contemplative look on his face. "Ao Crab, let's go. Beauty, you stay here first." Wang Xian moved his body and immediately flew towards the direction of the battlefield. Emperor Star Lady pouted and watched as they flew over. "Do you need help?" Wang Xian flew over and asked directly, "Huh?" Seeing Wang Xian and the rest flying over, the group of heaven demons revealed a look of astonishment. A middle-aged man with 2 horns on his head and a long tail looked at Wang Xian and the rest. "All of you don't have the strength," the middle-aged man said coldly. Roar. As soon as he finished his sentence, Ao Crab's body moved and immediately transformed into a devouring dragon. Roar. Roar. Following that, 5 devouring dragons that were also emitting a terrifying aura immediately emerged from his body. The aura that belonged to a level 5 immortal king was completely unleashed. Oh! They are also sky demons. The group of sky demons were shocked as they looked at the devouring dragons in shock. 6 level 5 immortal king experts. This power was not weak in their eyes. Among them, there were only 4 level 5 immortal king expert. If you are willing to help us, we can give you 30% of the treasures in the immortal god country. In the sky, the old man who was entangled with the level 6 immortal king desolate beast saw Wang Xian and the rest. His eyes were shining as he shouted loudly, 30%. All right. Wang Xian nodded immediately and nodded to Ao Crab, let's do it. Roar roar roar. Ao Crab and the rest moved and immediately flew towards the battlefield. My friend, get your companions to tie down a few level 5 immortal king level desolate beasts. Let's go in. When the middle-aged heaven demon saw this scene, a hint of excitement appeared in his eyes. He immediately shouted at Wang Xian, "Sure, let's go in." Wang Xian nodded his head with a smile on his face. Wang Xian was already very satisfied with the 30% of the treasures given to him. This immortal kingdom was obviously discovered by them and they had torn apart the void to find it. In addition, their group of sky demons had defended against more than half of the desolate beasts. To be able to get 30% was already quite a lot. Haha, let's go. Help us defend against the surrounding desolate beast. The middle-aged sky demon laughed out loud and flew directly towards the immortal divine kingdom in the void crack. Roar, roar, roar. The surrounding desolate beasts saw them flying in and let out extremely violent roars. One by one, the desolate beasts tried to charge in but were stopped by Ao Yarrow and the surrounding sky demons. In the sky, the level 6 immortal king revealed a smile in his eyes. Buzz. The moment he stepped into the void crack, Wang Xian could sense the savage aura coming from inside. Brother, I am the national advisor of the Tiger Chaos Demon Nation. Thank you for your help. The moment he stepped into the void crack, the middle-aged man introduced him to Wang Xian with a smile. His attitude was completely different from before. In his opinion, the identity of this young man in front of him who was able to order 6 underlings of the immortal king was definitely not simple. In addition, they might also be from the Heaven Demon clan. They still felt closer to their own kind. Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, we happened to hear the commotion here in the Luoman Desolate Beast Park. We are only doing this for mutual benefit. Wang Xian waved his hand indifferently. Wang Xian was still a little wary of this group of heaven demons. After all, he didn't know if there would be a conflict due to the treasures. However, he wasn't worried. At most, he could let Auntie Ying make a move from afar to intimidate them. Then let's enter this lair. This is the divine kingdom of a level 7 immortal king level desolate beast. It wasn't easy for us to find it. There should be a lot of treasures inside. The Heaven Demon Imperial Preceptor said to Wang Xian. All right. Wang Xian nodded. The two of them looked inside and immediately flew into the depth. This was the first time Wang Xian had entered such an unowned immortal divine kingdom. Chapter 2503. 2503 2503 Divine Parasol Tree. The lair of the desolate beasts can't be compared to ours. After entering the lair of the level 7 immortal king desolate beast, Heaven Fei Imperial Preceptor looked around and said softly, the immortal kingdom of humans would turn it into an extremely luxurious paradise. However, the lair of the desolate beasts could not be compared to it. There are many divine trees around. They have fully developed their intelligence. Wang Xian scanned his surroundings with his yin-yang 5 elemental dragon eyes. The interior of the lair was not dark. Instead, it was emitting a green glow. There were quite a number of divine trees inside. Just as they entered the entrance, there were 4 immortal king level 3 or 4 divine trees. Their bodies were emitting a sharp glow as though they could attack them at any time. Wood-attributed desolate beasts like to place some divine trees in their lairs. These divine trees have given birth to wisdom. Their offensive strength is not high and they are the nourishment of desolate beasts. However, this is a rare treasure for us. The middle-aged imperial preceptor saw a few divine trees and his eyes revealed an excited look. Let's enter. His body moved and he immediately flew into the nest. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just as he flew over, the 4 divine trees immediately launched an attack and were easily blocked by Wang Xian. The 2 of them easily blocked the attack and flew into the nest. Entering the nest was an incomparably huge nest. The entire nest was more than 10,000 kilometers in circumference. The entire nest was densely packed with godly herbs and godly trees. It was simply a large area. Hiss, there are so many godly herbs and godly trees. Wang Xian swept his gaze over and his face revealed a burning expression. There were at least 400 to 500 immortal king-level godly trees and a few hundred godly herb. The rest were all at the level of the eternal God Lord. Furthermore, some of the godly trees bore fruits and emitted rich vitality and energy. The value of these divine trees and herbs was extremely terrifying. Even if it's only 30%, it's still a huge fortune. Wang Xian mumbled, "That's immortal elixir, wood attribute essence. It's an extremely precious wood attribute essence, immortal elixir." At this moment, the imperial preceptor of Heaven Demon was breathing rapidly. He immediately flew forward. Wang Xian looked over and a glint flashed across his eyes as he followed closely behind. There was a pool that was 2 kilometers in size. However, in the middle of the pool, there was a pool of wood essence. Just by taking a breath, Wang Xian felt refresh. What a terrifying wood essence. Wang Xian's face was filled with shock. It seems like the accumulation of this level 7 immortal king desolate beast is very terrifying. It is indeed unexpected. However, the owner of the immortal god country is the king of the Lawman Desolate Beast Park. It is only natural that he has so many treasures. The Heaven Fei imperial preceptor said passionately. Was he once the king? Wang Xian mumbled as he scanned his surroundings. Yes, according to the records of our chaotic tiger demon country, this king god desolate beast evolved from a wooden beam bird. Its intelligence seems to have broken away from the desolate beast. It can also be called a Heaven Fei. The Heaven Fei imperial preceptor said. Wooden beam bird? Isn't it a very ordinary and weak bird? How could it break through to the immortal king realm? Wang Xian was a little surprised. It could be that it obtained some heaven-defying opportunity. As the imperial preceptor of Heaven Demon said that, he looked around and said, "Let's see if there are any treasures." Wang Xian nodded and immediately flew towards the location opposite the essence of wood. That should be the location where the immortal king desolate beast was resting. It was a bird's nest made of divine trees. Wang Xian entered and took a look. Heaven Demon imperial preceptor also flew over and checked the surroundings. He didn't find any treasures. Even so, there were enough treasures in there. It was enough to make Wang Xian's heart beat faster. These treasures were more than what the East Li immortal dynasty had accumulated over thousands of years. At this moment, Wang Xian's gaze landed on a wooden stick in the middle of the bird's nest. The wooden stick was 2 meters long and was slightly yellow. It seemed to have lost its vitality. However, when he saw the notification on the system, he revealed an extremely surprised expression. This is the divine parasol tree. It's the divine parasol tree. There was a flash of passion in his eyes. With a move of his body, he immediately grabbed the divine tree in his hand. With the divine tree in his hand, Wang Xian could feel a wave of energy coming from the ancestral tree. He could feel that the soul-returning tree, endless tree, Fuchang tree, and Nirvana lightning tree were moving. It's a tree of the same level as them. Wang Xian's heart skipped a beat. Oh! Dragon King, what is this? At this moment, the imperial preceptor of Heaven Demon noticed Wang Xian's actions and flew over immediately. He asked him, It's a powerful divine tree. It's a pity that it has lost its vitality. Wang Xian did not try to hide anything and passed it to him. The Imperial Preceptor of Heaven Demon took it and sized it up. Indeed, the grade of this divine tree is definitely not low. It's probably higher than all the divine trees here. What a pity. It's just a branch. It's useless. He shook his head as he spoke. I'll take this branch. Does Heaven Demon Imperial Preceptor have any objections? Wang Xian stretched out his hand to take the branch and said with a smile, no problem. Its value is very low to begin with. Heaven Demon Imperial Preceptor didn't have any objections. He could still investigate whether this tree was a treasure or not. Alright, let's move this immortal kingdom away first. Is that alright? Wang Xian looked at Heaven Demon Imperial Preceptor. Alright, I'll tear apart the space in front of us. Dragon King, you move. Heaven Demon Imperial Preceptor said. Alright. Wang Xian nodded. He immediately kept one of the withered branches of the divine parasol tree into his body. The two of them immediately flew out of the nest. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Just as Wang Xian was flying out, a phoenix cry resounded in his mind. At the same time, the ancestral tree in the dragon palace of the Tianzi continent trembled. On top of it, a branch appeared. Hualala. The ancestral tree trembled slightly. Streams of extremely dense energy entered the divine parasol tree, causing it to gradually emit a green luster. Chirp, chirp, chirp. The sound of a phoenix rang out in the dragon palace, and Feng Luan and Guan Shuqing, who were in the dragon palace, trembled slightly. The entire fire phoenix dragon seed also felt a change that came from the soul. This is. Guan Shuqing and Feng Luan looked at each other and immediately flew into the Dragon King Palace. That is. That seems to be the divine tree of inheritance of the Phoenix clan, the parasol tree. Feng Luan looked at the branch and felt the energy fluctuations on it. Her body trembled slightly. Sister Feng Luan, look. That parasol tree divine tree actually grows next to the Nirvana lightning tree. Guan Shuqing pointed at the ancestral tree. The parasol tree divine tree and the Nirvana lightning tree actually slowly interweave. The parasol tree divine tree can help the Phoenix clan to undergo Nirvana, while the Nirvana lightning tree is formed from another form of Nirvana due to lightning attacks. Sister Shuqing, I can sense that we can undergo Nirvana through the parasol tree and the Nirvana lightning tree. It can proceed and evolve to a very powerful level. Feng Luan's eyes were burning. Chapter 2504. 2504 Distribution of 2,504 Treasures. Wang Xian did not know about the changes in the Dragon Palace. At this moment, he was located below the Level 7 Immortal King Desolate Beast Lair. A majestic energy was enveloping him. Ka. Advance. Deep within Heaven Fei Imperial Preceptor's arm, it immediately transformed into a sharp claw that was hundreds of meters in size. He waved his arm forward heavily, directly opening a passageway in front of him. To open and pass through the void crack and pass through it was something that even a top-notch godly monarch expert could do. With the strength of Wang Xian and the Heaven Fei Imperial Preceptor, it would still be difficult for them to pass through the void crack. It would consume a huge amount of energy. The space crack in front of them was torn open. Wang Xian carried the entire immortal divine kingdom forward at a rapid speed. In the normal world, a group of desolate beasts sensed the movement of the immortal divine kingdom. They let out furious roars as they frantically tried to attack the direction of the immortal divine kingdom. However, the Tiger Chaos Demon country's strength this time was very strong. With Ao Crab and the rest attacking, the desolate beasts were completely suppressed. Even if they were to go berserk, they could not break through their defenses. In the sky, the Tiger Chaos Demon country's Undying God King Level 6 expert had completely turned into a huge beast, completely suppressing the desolate beast. The powerful suppression made the desolate beast unable to resist. However, it was impossible to kill it. Haha, good. The Tiger Chaos Demon country's Level 6 Undying God King looked extremely excited when he saw the God country move. This time, they had succeeded. Although they had paid 30% of the profits, it was totally worth it. If not for this group of people, They might not have gotten anything. Miss, 6 undying level 5 warriors. At this time, not too far away, Aunt Ying's silhouette came to Emperor Star Lady's side and said softly, "That guy is a little abnormal. They are improving too quickly." Emperor Star Lady looked at Aohe and the others. She knew Aohe. How could he be so strong before? How long had it been? And he was already an undying level 5. He's very abnormal. I wonder what kind of opportunities the Dragon Palace has. Miss, do you still remember the 2 girls from a year ago? Aunt Ying exclaimed softly. You mean Qing Yu and Shu Qing? They are much younger than me, I can be sure. Emperor Star Lady muttered and nodded. Yes, they are very young. Their space beast is even more terrifying than the towering snake, and their own strength. They are also undying emperors. They are the Dragon Empress of the Dragon Palace. I wonder if they are one of the 10,000 races in the center of the universe. Aunt Ying shook her head and said, Are there really 10,000 races in the center of the universe? Emperor Star Lady asked doubtfully. According to records, there is a center of the universe. This is not something we can come into contact with. Aunt Ying said, looking ahead, let's go, we'll follow that undying god country, to prevent this group of sky monsters from having any thought. As she spoke, she brought Di Xing Enyu along with her to follow the divine kingdom that was located in the void crack. We are already at the outer perimeter. After traveling through the void crack for an hour, the Imperial Preceptor stopped panting and said to Wang Xian, It should be safe here. Imperial Preceptor, get your people out of the desolate beasts and return here. Let's start distributing the treasures. Wang Xian smiled and said to the Imperial Preceptor, All right. Imperial Preceptor Tian Yarrow smiled as well. He immediately broke through the void and sent a message. More than an hour later, figures flew over. Ha ha ha, little crocodile. How are the treasures in the immortal godly nation? In the middle, a wild-looking old man said excitedly to Imperial Preceptor Tian Yarrow, Grandpa, there are a lot of treasures in there. It's comparable to the accumulation of our entire godly nation. Grandpa, the most important thing is this nest, this divine kingdom, and the large amount of wood essence inside. With them, Grandpa, you will be able to. The celestial demon Imperial Preceptor spoke with an excited expression, but he did not say the last few words. All right, all right. When the old man heard his words, his body trembled and he flew over with an excited expression. Dragon King. At this moment, Ao Crab and the rest also flew over and shouted respectfully. The Imperial Preceptor of Heaven Fei looked at Wang Xian and whispered a few words to the old man. Dragon King, right? It's fortunate that you guys helped us this time. We will definitely not lose you guys for 30% of the treasures. However, please agree, Dragon King. We want to complete this immortal divine kingdom. The old man cupped his hands at Wang Xian and said, All right, we will enter the immortal empire. You can choose the treasures first. Wang Xian nodded with a smile. We will not take advantage of you. Dragon King, whatever you want, you can say it. The old man was slightly taken aback and said with a smile, Let's go in and talk. Wang Xian smiled and entered the immortal empire directly. The members of the chaotic Tiger Demon Nation were not as ungrateful as the Iron Blood Alliance. They did not play any tricks in the distribution. Thank you, Dragon King. Speaking of which, the chaotic Tiger Demon Nation has gained a huge advantage. The essence of wood and the entire immortal empire belonged to them. The remaining 300 immortal trees and more than 100 immortal herbs belonged to Wang Xian. The elder from the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom was very satisfied with the distribution. He spoke politely to Wang Xian. From our point of view, we have also gained a huge advantage. Wang Xian smiled as well. He was also in a good mood after trading with such a straightforward person. Such a terrifying resource could increase the number of immortal kings in the Dragon Palace by more than 100. However, Wang Xian did not plan to sell or devour these trees. These immortal trees were planted in the Dragon Palace and were a sustainable resource. Each time, the results would add a lot of experts to the Dragon Palace. It was a slow and steady flow. Dragon King, let's leave a contact number. Welcome to our chaotic Tiger Demon Nation as a guest. We will definitely treat you warmly. The old man was very friendly with Wang Xian. Both of them left a contact number. Following that, the Imperial Preceptor of Heaven Demon Nation also left a contact number with Wang Xian and invited him to the chaotic divine empire. Wang Xian declined with a smile. He waved his hand and left. This time, he had made a huge profit. That Dragon King seems to be very young. His subordinates are very strong and have a noble bloodline. He should be a powerful tribe of Heaven Demon, the old man said as he watched Wang Xian leave. Yes, Grandpa, I have also sensed something. They are of the same kind as us. That Dragon King seems to be open and above board. We can befriend him in the future. Heaven Fei Imperial Preceptor nodded. Go back, this time I have a huge chance of taking that step. The old man's eyes flashed as he looked at the undying god country beside him, his heart filled with excitement. As long as grandfather can break through, in our region, there aren't many who can match up to us. Heaven Fei Imperial Preceptor revealed a look of longing. Chapter 2505. 2505 2505 Guardian of the Imperial Court. How's the harvest? In the Lawman Desolate Beast Park, the Empress asked Wang Xian curiously when she saw him return with a smile on his face. The harvest is not bad. Wang Xian smiled. The harvest this time was indeed not cheap. Not to mention the divine tree of God's grass, just the divine parasol tree branch was already a huge profit for him. The divine parasol tree was a tree that phoenixes lived on. The reason why the phoenix race was able to stand at the top of the universe was largely due to the divine parasol tree. Now that he had obtained the divine parasol tree, he could vaguely sense the changes in the ancestral tree in the Dragon Palace. The divine parasol tree, the fire phoenix bloodline, and the nirvana thunder tree. Perhaps the Dragon Palace would be able to give birth to a powerful dragon seed. Continue with your work. Wang Xian looked at Imperial Star Lady and said to her. She curled her lips slightly and did not continue speaking. Buzz. The group of them moved and flew towards the opposite direction. They were now at the edge of the Lawman Desolate Beast Park opposite the Iron Blood Alliance. It was a long distance away from the Iron Blood Alliance. It would take at least half a day to fly there. However, Wang Xian did not plan to stay here. After flying for more than 10 hours, they arrived at the central area of the Lawman Beast Park near the Iron Blood Alliance. Ao Yao, continue to search. After arriving, Wang Xian immediately ordered them. It's the Dragon King. Ao Yarrow and the rest continued to search for desolate beasts in the surroundings. According to Wang Xian's plan, they should capture at least 3 to 4 immortal king level 4 desolate beasts this time. Now that he had already captured one, he was still short of 2 to 3. Next, Wang Xian and the rest buried themselves in the Lawman Desolate Beast Park. When he found the desolate beasts, he immediately tamed them. When he could not find them, he began to study the array formation. Time passed day by day. It's this planet. The young man with the potential to become an emperor is here. However, at this moment, above the Star Source planet, a vast ship had descended. This was an ancient sailing ship. It looked like it was made of wood, and the green light on it flickered from time to time. This ancient sailing ship seemed to be sailing from the center of the universe, quietly floating in the sky above the Star Source planet. On the sailing ship, 2 old men stood quietly in front of the old man. The old man was dressed in plain clothes, looking like an ordinary old man. They looked down and murmured, "Found it." An old man held an ancient compass in his hand, looked at the display on it, and said with a smile, "Let's go." With a thought, the sailboat that was dozens of meters in size instantly appeared in the sky above the star origin planet Overlord Sect. Hooah! In the next instant, the sky above Overlord Sect was torn apart. "Fuck, what's going on? Who wants to sneak attack me?" Invincible battle technique. Invincible battle technique's voice sounded. When he sensed the situation around him, he was slightly stunned. In the crack in the sky, Invincible battle technique looked at the 2 old men standing on the sailboat in astonishment. "Who are you?" He stared at the 2 of them warily. "Bloodline, what a strong bloodline, ha ha ha, good. One of the old men looked at the compass before staring at Invincible with a burning gaze. "You. What are you trying to do?" "I'm warning you, My invincible combat technique will become an existence like the Void God Emperor in the future. You. Invincible battle technique trembled when he saw the look in his eyes. He shrank his body in fear. The two old men in front of him gave him an unfathomable feeling. This was the first time he sensed such a terrifying person. Furthermore, the other party was able to pull him into the void crack so easily. One could imagine his strength. Wang. An old man looked at him and smiled. He waved his arm and a token emitted a dazzling light. On the token, there was a big word guard, and behind the word guard was an ancient-looking courtyard. What is it? Invincible in battle stared at the token and said in confusion, "The guardian of the imperial court." An old man said with a smile, "The guardian of the imperial court stands on the imperial court and has guarded the imperial court for hundreds of millions of years. He doesn't hold authority, but he is above it." Another elder added with a smile, "What do you mean?" Sir, please explain clearly. The imperial court. Is it the supreme imperial court of the imperial starfield?" Invincible's eyes lit up as he immediately asked. The protector of the imperial court is independent of the imperial court. His duty is to protect the imperial court. Although he doesn't hold any authority, he can have resources that you can't even imagine. No one under the emperor of the imperial court can worship them. Within the imperial court, even if you have committed a heinous crime that cannot be judged by the guardians of the imperial court, no one else is qualified to be judge. As for US guardians of the imperial court, we are the peak experts of this resplendent world. Brat, your talent is very good. You have been chosen by us. The two elders said to Invincible in battle with black faces. Damn, so awesome, ha ha ha, I want to join. Two masters, I have the talent of an emperor, can I be a very high official? Invincible heard their words, his body trembled as he said excitedly, "You're only at Undying Emperor level 1, you're the weakest amongst us. If it wasn't for your talent, why would I want you, kid? Do you know what we, the guardians of the imperial court, represent? Alright, we'll take you away immediately." The two old men looked at the random invincible fighter and said unhappily, Wait, I still have to tell my parents and my teacher." Invincible fighter said quickly, "Stop talking nonsense, we will secretly bring your family to the central region. Don't worry, in the Emperor Starfield, nothing will happen to them." An elder waved his arm and directly grabbed Invincible battle technique and threw him into a room inside the sailboat. Damn, we are from the same department after all. You are bullying newbies. Invincible battle technique screamed, and the door of the sailboat was closed. It's so good to be young. The two elders looked at each other and revealed a smile. With a wave of their arms, the sailboat disappeared into the starry sky. In the next few days, a huge incident happened between Tianzi continent and Starsource planet. Tianzi continent, the core members of the battle techniques family all disappeared. Overlord and some others also disappeared. The threat of Starsource planet, the Undying God King Desolate Beasts on Starbeast planet all disappeared overnight. From then on, this space no longer had the invincible Emperor-level battle techniques. However, in an even brighter and more prosperous starry sky, the arrogant life of being invincible in battle techniques had just begun. Boss, I'm leaving first. I'm going to the central region of the Imperial Starfield. The two old fellows won't let me tell you the details of what I'm going to do. However, don't worry, boss. In the future, my invincible battle techniques will be very awesome. When you reach the central region, you must let me know. Boss, don't forget about this little brother of mine. Wang Xian, who was located in the Lawman Beast Park, suddenly received a message from Invincible Battle Technique. He was astonished. Chapter 2506. 2506 Beast Tide 1. This guy was taken away. Someone must have noticed his talent. He wasn't too surprised that Invincible was taken away by a powerful organization, an Undying that wasn't even 1,000 years old. In the resplendent region, he was indeed a heaven-defying existence, hence it was normal for some organizations to pay attention to him. The news that he was invincible in battle techniques did not affect him much. Wang Xian continued to tame the desolate beasts while learning the array formation. Roar, roar, roar. A month later, roars sounded one after another. Wang Xian stared excitedly at the two desolate beasts that were chasing the Imperial Star Lady, blood-winged horses, two level 4 Immortal King blood-winged horses. Each of them was about 100 meters in size and had a pair of blood-red wings. Their heads were slightly ferocious and they looked extremely ferocious. After I tame these two blood-winged horses, I can move. Wang Xian muttered to himself as a smile appeared on his face. Formation, rise. Seeing the two level 4 Immortal King level desolate beasts entering the formation, Wang Xian immediately opened the formation. Suppress. He ordered Aohe who was beside him. Aohe flew over instantly and used his powerful claws to suppress the two desolate beasts. Roar, roar, roar. The two Immortal King desolate beasts let out roars of shock and anger. Wang Xian revealed a smile on his face and immediately flew over to tame them. Hoo hoo. On the side, Emperor Star Lady was panting heavily as she wiped the sweat off her forehead. The higher the level of the desolate beasts, the harder it was to attract them over. It took her a full 5 hours to attract these two desolate beasts. There are 4 now. Including the desolate beasts that I tamed previously, there are a total of 4 Immortal King level 4 beasts. Wang Xian mumbled. In the past 2 months, the number of battle pets that Wang Xian tamed had reached around 60. Especially in this 1 month, as it was in the central region, he was lucky enough to tame 5 to 6 at once. Out of the 20 Immortal King level desolate beasts, there were 4 at level 4, 10 at level 3, and the rest were at level 2 and level 1. The number of these war pets could cause the entire region to boil. Back then, the entire Eastern Li Celestial Empire was about to be destroyed under the attacks of these war pets. This power is enough. Wang Xian looked at the blood-winged horse that had been tamed in front of him. His eyes flashed with a cold glint. All right, I won't capture it for the time being. Wang Xian said to Di Xingnu who was beside him. It's finally over. Di Xingnu heaved a sigh of relief. For the past 2 months, she had been holding in her anger every day. From now on, there's nothing for you guys to do. If you want to leave, just leave. Wang Xian said to her. Following that, he gave an order to the blood-winged horse. The two blood-winged horses immediately flew towards their nest. What are you going to do after taming the dire beasts and letting them leave? Di Xing'e asked Wang Xian with some doubt. There are some things that need to be dealt with. Let's make way. Wang Xian smiled faintly and said to Di Xing'e and the rest. Deal with things? Di Xing'e had a puzzled look on her face. She followed Wang Xian and flew to the side. Wang Xian stood in the sky and looked at the territories of the Immortal King desolate beasts. Roar. Not long after, roars were suddenly heard from the front. The roars were filled with pressure and brutality. That's the territory of the blood-winged horse. Emperor Star Lady stood at the side, looking at the source of the roars with a surprised expression. Roar, roar, roar. Very quickly, roars that shook the sky responded. A spot in the Lorman Desolate Beast Park began to shake. Desolate beasts let out low roars as they slowly gathered together. Roar, roar, roar. From time to time, there would be an undying God King Desolate Beast roaring. The commotion in the Lorman Desolate Beast Park grew bigger and bigger. This is. Emperor Star Lady looked ahead in shock, her eyes gleaming. These desolate beasts were all attracted over by her. Hence she was very clear about the territories of the tamed desolate beast. From her senses, these disturbances were all coming from these desolate beasts. Clearly, these disturbances were ordered by that fellow beside her. More and more undyings roared. Many undyings below the level of Undying Emperor rushed towards the direction of the Iron Blood Alliance. And as more and more undyings joined in, some untamed undyings were also affected. The 4 undyings roared at the undyings. Many of them joined in, rushing towards the Iron Blood Alliance. As they advanced, more and more desolate beasts joined in. You are going to. Emperor Star Lady widened her eyes and looked at Wang Xian in shock. Let's go. Wang Xian smiled and followed by the side of all the desolate beast. With the guidance of the 60 Immortal King level desolate beasts that he had tamed, a beast tide was formed very quickly. Furthermore, the number of the beast tide was increasing at a terrifying speed. The number of the beast tide this time was twice as many as the previous one. The Dragon King is creating a beast tide to attack the Iron Blood Alliance. Aunt Ying flew over at this time and said with a twinkle in her eyes, "Is he trying to destroy the Iron Blood Alliance?" Celestial Emperor Lady said with a frown, "It's possible. The last time the Dragon King helped the Iron Blood Alliance, it seemed that the Iron Blood Alliance wanted to harm him, so this time the Dragon King and the others are going to take revenge." Aunt Ying said slowly. This Imperial Star Lady did not know what to say. The Iron Blood Alliance repaid kindness with enmity. This was indeed infuriating, but the Dragon King's revenge could very possibly destroy the entire Iron Blood Alliance, resulting in countless deaths and injury. The Iron Blood Alliance is courting death. "Miss, let's follow by the side and watch." As Aunt Ying said, she brought Imperial Star Lady to follow behind. The beast tide was moving forward from the center of the Lorman Desolate Beast Park. According to the speed of some desolate beasts, it would take at least a day for them to reach the Iron Blood Alliance. However, Wang Xian was not in a hurry. The people from the Iron Blood Alliance would not be able to escape. "Have you found out about the news of the Dragon King?" At the same time, in a luxurious palace of the Iron Blood Alliance, a group of more than 20 people were sitting inside. 2 old men in metal armor were sitting in the leader's seat. As they sat there, waves of uncontrollable murderous aura spread out in all directions. The weak ones didn't dare to look at the 2 old men at all. "Lord Defender General, we haven't received any news about the Dragon King yet. We'll send more people to investigate the news now," the Iron Blood Alliance master said with a frown. "It's been more than 2 months, and there's still no news. Let me say it. We'll directly attack the Dragon Palace's lair," one of the Defender General sitting at the front said with a cold face. Chapter 2507. 2507 2507 Beast Tide 2. Country Defending General, if we attack the Dragon Palace directly, we're afraid that the Dragon Palace Dragon King can easily escape. When that time comes, it'll be difficult to kill him. Within the Iron Blood Alliance Palace, an Iron Blood Alliance elder frowned and said, "Undying emperors weren't easy to kill. If they wanted to escape, with their strength, they couldn't stop them at all. The moment they couldn't kill the Dragon Emperor once, the next time would be even harder. Since you all know that attacking the Dragon Palace might allow the Dragon Emperor to escape, then quickly find out his exact location." The 2 defending generals of the Raging Flame God dynasty said angrily. They hadn't heard anything from the Dragon Emperor in over 2 months. They were already getting impatient. Yes, our Iron Blood Alliance will definitely get news about the Dragon Emperor as soon as possible." The Iron Blood Alliance members immediately replied. They didn't dare to go against the 2 generals of the Raging Flame Empire. The Flame Undying Empire had already promised that the moment they destroyed the Dragon King, they would be willing to set up a super long-distance array to connect the Iron Blood Alliance to them. The moment this array was set up, the Iron Blood Alliance would be in danger, and they could immediately send help to the Raging Flame Empire. The Raging Flame Divine Dynasty would also guarantee to send reinforcement. This was a huge opportunity for the entire Iron Blood Alliance. As long as they connected to the Raging Flame Divine Dynasty, they would be able to step into the territory of the Raging Flame Divine Dynasty. It would also be of great benefit to the development of the Iron Blood Alliance. As for the matter of betraying the Dragon Palace and killing the Dragon King, they had long forgotten about it due to the benefits in front of them. "Let's do it as soon as possible." The 2 country protection generals' expressions softened as they said, "Not good, Alliance Master, not good. In the Lorman Desolate Beast Park, there are large numbers of desolate beasts attacking us." At this moment, a figure walked into the hall in a panic and exclaimed, "What? There's a beast tide attacking us? Didn't the beast tide just erupt?" Within the hall, the Iron Blood Alliance warriors were shocked. They immediately stood up and said, we don't know either. Through the satellite and our Alliance scouts, the beast tide this time is even bigger than the last time. We already know that there are 5 Undying Emperor level 4 beasts. We estimate that they will reach us in 2 hours. The reporting middle-aged man said with a pale face. The beast tide that erupted not long ago, according to the past situation, there won't be a beast tide for at least a few hundred to a few thousand years. The Iron Blood Alliance leader's expression was extremely ugly as he said, "Ring the bell, all soldiers prepare for battle." An Iron Blood Alliance elder said with a dark expression, "Yes." An elder beside him immediately replied, "Beast Horde. Are there any undying level 5 desolate beasts?" The two Flame God Empire generals in front of them raised their eyebrows and asked, "No, we didn't find any undying level 5 desolate beast." The middle-aged man immediately said, "Two generals, our Iron Blood Alliance has always been under threat from the Lawman Desolate Beast Park, but the Beast Horde has never had any undying level 5 desolate beasts involve. Undying God King level 5 desolate beasts live in the center of the Desolate Beast Park. They do not need to fight over territory." An Iron Blood Alliance ancestor immediately said, "Since that's the case, we will help you suppress the Beast Horde this time." The two Guardian generals looked at each other and said calmly. Their faces were filled with confidence. "Thank you two generals for your help. With your help, we can easily suppress all the desolate beast." The Iron Blood Alliance members were excited. Even though the beast tide was strong, with the Flame God Dynasty's two undying level 5 warriors, they could easily defend against it. Even if the two generals were willing to help, the two of them could defend against all the undying Emperor Desolate Beast. This was the strength of an undying level 5 warrior. Go. The two generals nodded indifferently. They didn't care about the Beast Horde at all. They could easily defend against the Beast Horde. Wang. The group moved and swiftly flew towards the front lines. Su su su. Prepare for battle. The Beast Horde has invaded. Kill them, kill them. At this moment, in the middle of the Lawman Desolate Beast Park and the Iron Blood Alliance, countless Iron Blood Alliance soldiers were flying towards them. All of them were roaring with killing intent. In less than half an hour, just like last time, the city walls were filled with densely packed Iron Blood Alliance soldiers. Tens of billions of soldiers, their hands holding weapons, stared coldly ahead. The warriors of the Iron Blood Alliance stood around the two defending generals of the Flame Undying God Dynasty, staring ahead. Right now, they could already feel the terrifying aura and the roar of the desolate beasts ahead. What terrifying power! Hiss! The beast tide this time is much stronger than last time. Even if the desolate beasts had not arrived, all the soldiers of the Iron Blood Alliance felt the immense pressure coming from the front. This caused many of the soldiers' faces to turn slightly pale. All the soldiers need not worry. With the two Guardian Generals of the Raging Flame Divine Empire helping us to resist the Divine Empire, we can easily kill all the desolate beast. We will definitely win this battle. The Iron Blood Alliance leader was not too worried about the beast tide this time. He roared at everyone with a smile on his face. We will definitely win. When all the soldiers of the Iron Blood Alliance heard the Alliance leader's words, joy appeared on their faces. They naturally knew that the Raging Flame Divine Empire belonged to the powerful Divine Empire opposite the Lawman Desolate Beast Garden. With the help of the experts of the Raging Flame Divine Empire, they would definitely be able to easily defend against the beast tide this time. Howl, howl, howl. It's coming. At this time, the roars of the desolate beasts were getting closer and closer. They could see the ferocious desolate beasts at the front. In the front row, over 70 undying Emperor desolate beasts were giving off terrifying power. In the middle, 5 huge undying level 4 desolate beasts, a brutal aura rushed over. Over 70, there are actually over 70 undying Emperor desolate beast. The beast tide this time is almost double the previous time. Luckily there are the two lords of the Raging Flame God Dynasty. When everyone saw over 70 undying Emperor desolate beasts, their faces were filled with shock. With so many powerful desolate beasts, if no one helped them, their Iron Blood Alliance would be destroyed. With us here, don't worry. The Flame Undying General looked ahead and said indifferently, without an undying level 5 desolate beast, they didn't need to take it to heart. The two moved and floated in mid-air, staring indifferently at the 70 over undying level Emperor desolate beast. Chapter 2508. 2508 2508 Beast Tide 3. Ha ha ha, prepare to face the enemy. Share some of the pressure for the two lords. When the experts of the Iron Blood Alliance saw the two Guardian Generals of the Raging Flame God Dynasty standing in the air, Their eyes revealed an excited look as they roared. Su su su. One figure after another immediately came behind the two and stared coldly at the beast tied in front of them. With the two country defending generals here, these desolate beasts are just our resources. Below them, the 5 emissaries, princes, and a group of youths from the raging flame divine empire were looking forward with smiles on their faces. Similarly, they did not take the beast tide seriously this time. Are they all here? At the same time, at the side of the beast tide, Wang Xian looked at the soldiers at the front line of the Iron Blood Alliance. Looking at the dozens of immortal God King powerhouses floating in the sky, a faint smile appeared on his face. His gaze landed on the 2 figures in the middle, and his eyes were shining. Dragon King, the 2 in the middle should have the combat strength of a level 5 immortal king. Ao he stood beside him and whispered. Okay. Wang Xian nodded slightly. Ao he, you will deal with the 2 of them later. The 2 level 5 immortal king level powerhouses were obviously from the Blazing Flame Empire. The reason why the Iron Blood Alliance wanted to kill him was also because of the Blazing Flame Empire. The Blazing Flame Empire is not a force in this region. I should not have provoked them. Wang Xian mumbled. However, since you guys want to kill me, then just wait for your doom. As he spoke, an extremely sinister expression appeared on his face. Do it. Wang Xian shouted in a low voice and ordered immediately. Buzz. In the next moment, Ao Xie who was at the side vanish. Roar roar roar. At the same time, at the front of the beast tide, 60 immortal king-level desolate beasts sensed Wang Xian's order and let out a furious roar. The other 10 immortal king-level desolate beasts that were led over also roared when they saw the roars of their own kind around them. Their eyes were filled with bloodlust. With each roar, below, all the desolate beasts below Undying God King charged forward. Chimph, a bunch of beasts, go die. The 2 defending generals floating in the air stared disdainfully at the 70 desolate beasts in front of them, waving their arms. One of them had a large blade in his hand, while the other held a small city-like weapon. Leave these beasts to the 2 of us. Kill all the other desolate beast. The 2 country defending generals said proudly. Their bodies moved and slashed at the 70 over Undying God Emperor desolate beast. All right, then I'll have to trouble the 2 generals. The warriors of the Iron Blood Alliance revealed excited expressions. At this time, they felt that cooperating with the Raging Flame God dynasty was worth it. Kill. A defender general roared and raised the long blade in his hand, slashing forward. More than 70 immortal king desolate beasts in front of them felt the terrifying attack power, causing a commotion. Especially those desolate beasts that were not subdued by Wang Xian, they were shaking their bodies in fear. Roar roar roar. However, at this moment, an even more terrifying oppressive sound was heard. It went straight for the terrifying blade light. Roar roar roar. Sensing this aura, the tamed desolate beasts let out an excited roar. Pang. The saber beam collided with an incomparably huge claw and instantly dissipated. Oh! What? The 2 calm and composed country protection generals saw a huge creature suddenly appear. Sensing its terrifying strength, their expressions change. Roar roar. Before they could react, another terrifying existence appeared from the huge beast. 2 huge figures attacked the 2 of them. Shit, these 2 are Undying God King level 5 desolate beast. One of the country defending generals shouted in shock. What? How is this possible? How can there be an Undying God King level 5 desolate beast? Below, when everyone heard the general's words, their bodies froze, their faces filled with shock. Especially the people from the Iron Blood Alliance, their faces instantly paled. These are 2 Undying level 5 desolate beast. They immediately raised their heads and looked up, seeing the 2 terrifying creatures, their bodies trembled. No, these creatures are so familiar. Suddenly, the Iron Blood Alliance master stared at the 2 terrifying creatures and muttered. The more he looked like the powerful creatures described in the AI. Those were the Dragon King's subordinates. Roar. At this moment, another extremely terrifying roar sounded. This was the 3rd sound. The source of the roar was naturally Ao Crab's body. The ones who attacked were naturally Ao Crab and his devouring dragons. The third Undying Level 5 Undying Level devouring dragon crawled out from his body and attacked the two flame god generals. Damn, what kind of monster is this? One of the generals saw the third creature appear and his expression became ugly. He roared fiercely. The two of us will hold back these two Undying Level 5 God King Desolate Beasts, the rest will be up to you. The other Defender General roared softly, exchanging glances with the other. The two immediately flew into the distance. They wanted to lure the three Undying Level 5 God King Desolate Beasts away, otherwise the aftershocks of their battle would cause the Iron Blood Alliance to suffer heavy losses, even destruction. However, with the two of them, they could only pin down these three terrifying creatures. The two of them flew into the distance. Aosier and the rest had a glint in their eyes, but they didn't stop them. This is the time, hey. When Wang Xian saw the two Level 5 Immortal King experts leaving, the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. A sinister look appeared on his face. Buzz. The next moment, his body moved and flew towards the center of the battlefield at a terrifying speed. How could the beast tide this time be so terrifying? How could there be three Immortal King Level 5 Desolate Beasts? How could it be? At this moment, many experts of the Iron Blood Alliance were still shocked by the sudden appearance of the three Immortal King Level 5 expert. Only the Iron Blood Alliance leader's expression changed as he thought of a possibility. Wong. Suddenly, everyone felt the entire space change. Huge black holes appeared out of thin air and the entire space became extremely strange. At that moment, the wild beasts below Undying Level felt the change in space and began to stir. The entire strange space actually covered an area of 400 to 500 million kilometers. Due to the dense beast horde battle lines, all the desolate beasts and people from the Iron Blood Alliance were covered. It's the Dragon Palace Dragon King. It's the Dragon Palace Dragon King. The Iron Blood Alliance master saw this strange space and was completely certain of it. He widened his eyes and roared in disbelief. Chapter 2509. 2509 Beast Tide 4. Dragon Palace Dragon King? This is obviously a beast tide. How can it be Dragon Palace Dragon King? The Iron Blood Alliance leader's words caused everyone's faces to reveal shock and shock. This space is exactly the same as what the AI described. I can't sense my own undying country. This is the space, it's Dragon King. At the side, an undying God King's heart skipped a beat. He looked at the space around him and widened his eyes. His face was filled with fear as he shouted in shock. Iron Blood Alliance, long time no see. At this moment, a voice suddenly sounded. Roar. Wang Xian's figure flew towards the front of the group of desolate beast. Among them, the dozens of Immortal King desolate beasts that were led over saw a human flying towards them. They stared at him with a grim expression and let out a furious roar. However, just as they recalled their roar, more than 60 Immortal King desolate beasts roared at them at the same time. Their grim gazes warned them. Roar. The dozens of Immortal King desolate beasts let out a low roar and scanned their surroundings restlessly. Roar. They tried to escape but realized that they could not sense their nest at all. This made them even more restless. The 60 over desolate beasts that were tamed by Wang Xian looked at them and let out a warning roar again. Roar. The dozens of Immortal King desolate beasts let out a low growl in response. Facing the 60 over Immortal King desolate beasts, they quieted down. At this moment, Wang Xian had already arrived in front of all the Immortal King desolate beasts. He was smiling as he stared at the people from the Iron Blood Alliance. Hiss. Seeing Wang Xian floating in front of all the desolate beasts and seeing the desolate beasts standing quietly behind him, everyone from the Iron Blood Alliance gasped in unison. It's you, it's really you, Dragon King. The leader of the Iron Blood Alliance widened his eyes and stared at Wang Xian with an extremely ugly expression. The surrounding experts from the Iron Blood Alliance also narrowed their eyes slightly and wore a gloomy expression. It's that guy. This beast tide. This guy. At the side, the Lord of the Blazing Inferno dynasty and the group of young men were also staring at Wang Xian in astonishment. Is he the Dragon King? The 5 emissaries of the blazing Inferno dynasty also felt their hearts pounding violently as they looked at the beast-tide army with a solemn expression. It's that Dragon King. What's going on? How could the Dragon King order the beast-tide? Isn't the Dragon King the benefactor of our Iron Blood Alliance? Yeah, what's going on? Is the Dragon King here to help us? The ordinary soldiers of the Iron Blood Alliance did not know that they were going to kill the Dragon King. When they saw Wang Xian standing opposite them, they opened their mouths slightly. Iron Blood Alliance, are you familiar with the beast tide? Not long ago, you guys encountered a beast tide. I, the Dragon King, led my men to help you. Wang Xian's gaze swept across everyone in the Iron Blood Alliance as he spoke in a slightly sinister tone. Dragon King, then, those 3 immortal King level 5 powerhouses are your men? Sensing Wang Xian's gaze, the chief of the Iron Blood Alliance clenched his fists tightly as he asked in a low voice. His voice was trembling slightly. What do you think? The corners of Wang Xian's mouth curled up slightly. The last time, I, the Dragon King, helped you guys. In the end, you guys repaid my kindness with enmity and wanted to kill me instead. Haha, Iron Blood Alliance, good, very good. This is the first time that I have met such an ungrateful person. Since that's the case, I will have to bear the revenge from the Dragon Palace. This beast tide is a gift from me to you guys. Are you satisfied? He stared coldly at the chief of the Iron Blood Alliance and spoke with murderous intent. What? Why would the Iron Blood Alliance want to? His words caused the expressions of all the soldiers of the Iron Blood Alliance who were unaware of the situation to change drastically. Why would the Iron Blood Alliance want to kill the Dragon King? Dragon King, we have no other choice. We have no other choice. An elder of the Iron Blood Alliance was trembling as he stared at Wang Xian with blood-red eyes. He growled in a low voice, Dragon King, are you trying to destroy the Iron Blood Alliance? That's right. Today, I'm going to destroy the Iron Blood Alliance. I will let you know the consequences of trying to kill me. Wang Xian spoke to them without hiding anything. Beast tide. Beast tide. Dragon King, you actually launched such a huge beast tide to deal with us. You really think highly of us. One of the patriarchs of the Iron Blood Alliance looked at the immortal King Desolate Beast behind Wang Xian with blood-red eyes. His face was filled with regret as he growled. I have spent a lot of effort to capture all of you in one go. Wang Xian looked at him with a mocking expression. Capture all of you in one go. When everyone heard Wang Xian's words, they felt their scalps turn numb and their hearts turn cold. Something big is going to happen. At the side, the heart of the Lord of the Blazing Dynasty was beating violently. He had a bad premonition. Beside him, the 5 envoys were also holding their weapons tightly, extremely nervous. This time, they had kicked an iron board. This Dragon Palace doesn't only have 3 undying level 4 warriors, how can they be so strong? How can there be 3 undying level 5 warriors here? An emissary from the Raging Flame God dynasty couldn't help but roar. They had followed the Emperor's orders to kill the Dragon King, and now they realized that the Dragon King's power wasn't weaker than theirs, or even stronger. Kill? With what? Weren't they sending themselves to their deaths? What do we do? The Dragon King's power is too terrifying, 3 level 5 undying fighters, it's not hard for them to kill us. Damn it, we've done something wrong this time, we have to get the Dragon King to forgive us, otherwise our Iron Blood Alliance. In the center, a few of the Iron Blood Alliance elders and alliance leaders said softly. They had completely lost their sense of propriety. Dragon King, this time it's our fault, we're willing to apologize and give the Iron Blood Alliance a chance. We are doing this for the future of the Iron Blood Alliance, but we haven't done anything yet. An elder of the Iron Blood Alliance begged for mercy. Do you think that I don't know about your Iron Blood Alliance sending people to look for my information? It's too late to beg for mercy now. Kill. Wang Xian didn't want to talk to them anymore. He waved his arm and ordered loudly. Roar, roar, roar. Behind them, the 60 immortal King Desolate Beasts let out an attack roar in unison. Following that, they immediately pounced forward. Not good, defend and defend. Dragon King, can't you give us a chance? Seeing all the Desolate Beasts charging at them, the chief of the Iron Blood Alliance roared in fear. You deserve it. Wang Xian's eyes were cold. Roar. Behind all the desolate beasts, a huge creature flew over from behind. Its terrifying aura made everyone tremble. Immortal King Level 5 Devouring Dragon. Chapter 2510. 2510 had brought this upon himself. An undying Level 5 being, and an undying Level 5 being. When a swallowing dragon's roar covered all sounds, the moment all the warriors of the Iron Blood Alliance saw him fly over, everyone's faces were filled with disbelief, their faces filled with shock. Dragon Palace, there was still an undying Level 5 being hiding in this space. Stunned, at this time, everyone was stunned. How do we fight? An undying Level 1 warrior looked sadly at the Beast Tide and Dragon Palace's undying Level 5 warrior. On their side, the strongest were only 3 undying Level 4 ancestors. However, there were already 5 undying Level 4 desolate beasts on the other side. They were already at a disadvantage, now against a Level 5 undying. How could they fight? No, Dragon King, how can you have such terrifying strength? Iron Blood Alliance leader couldn't believe it as he looked at another Level 5 undying, his eyes bloodshot. With such terrifying strength, would the East Li Immortal Dynasty still dare to provoke the Dragon King? If they knew that the Dragon King had such power, why would they still dare to cooperate with the Raging Flame Immortal Dynasty? If they knew, they would cling on to the Dragon Palace. As long as the Dragon King nodded, what kind of Beast Tide crisis would they have to face? The strength displayed by the Dragon Palace had already surpassed that of the Raging Flame Immortal Dynasty. What a joke! Wang Xian looked at the disbelief on his face and his face was filled with mockery. Roar! Following that, what greeted the Iron Blood Alliance was the terrifying Dragon Claw attack of the Devouring Dragon. That huge body and 18 terrifying claws instantly appeared in front of the 40 immortal kings of the Iron Blood Alliance and tore them apart. Run, run, run. Feeling the swallowing dragon's terrifying attack, the Iron Blood Alliance ancestor howled in fear. They didn't even have the desire to defend, turning and fleeing madly. RRR. RRR. I can't return to my god country, we're finished. However, in the next moment, screams of pain resounded. Mixed within were screams of panic and despair. They could no longer sense their god country. Facing this terrifying beast horde, what they faced was death and destruction. No. The screams were from over 10 undying Level 1 warriors, and countless soldiers below. When the warriors of the Iron Blood Alliance heard these screams, blood flowed out of their eyes. They turned around and roared in despair. Below, the Beast Tide had already charged into their group of warriors. There were even a few undying God King desolate beasts wreaking havoc. Those warriors who had not reached the undying God King realm did not have the ability to resist at all. Seeing this scene, all the warriors of the Iron Blood Alliance collapse. Those were their warriors, many of them were their descendants, and they were being slaughtered. It was all because of their choices and their ingratitude. Dragon King, stop. Stop. We surrender. We surrender. An elder of the Iron Blood Alliance could not help but turn around and shout at Wang Xian in despair. They were afraid, really afraid. The Dragon King's influence was too strong. It was a piece of cake to destroy them. They were afraid that after the Dragon King destroyed them, he would destroy their planet. If the Dragon King really did that, who would be able to stop him? They had protected the planet for millions or even tens of millions of years for generations. Because of their choices, because of their ingratitude, they were destroyed. They didn't want to see that. Stop, we surrender, we surrender. Seeing an elder crumble and stand there in despair, the rest of the Iron Blood Alliance warriors trembled and stopped. Some of the immortal godly kings were even kneeling there. Spare our lives, spare our clansmen. Plop. The leader of the Iron Blood Alliance kneeled in the air and lowered his head towards Wang Xian. Spare you? If not for my strength, I would probably be the one to die, right? Wang Xian stared at them expressionlessly. There was no mercy in his eyes. Dragon King, what do you need to do to be willing to let us off? Bang, bang, bang. As one of the patriarchs of the Iron Blood Alliance spoke, he knelt down as well and spoke with a pained expression. The rest of the experts of the Iron Blood Alliance also knelt down immediately. They had already lost the ability and qualification to resist. No matter what, they had to die. However, they didn't want to die. All of you have committed your own mistakes and implicated your clansmen. You have brought your own sins upon yourselves. Commit suicide immediately. I can let your clansmen off. Wang Xian looked at the members of the Iron Blood Alliance who were kneeling there with a mocking expression on his face. Now, he knew regret and begged for mercy. If Wang Xian was a weakling in this matter, he would be the one to die. He would definitely not let off those who wanted to kill him. What? You want us to commit suicide? Wang Xian's words made their faces turn pale. Their eyes were filled with fear. They were all immortal king-level existences with a lifespan of 1,000,000 years. They didn't want to die. However, there were continuous screams from below. When they looked over, their hearts were beating violently. Wang Xian stared at them coldly without saying a word. He just stared at them coldly. Every second, many people would be eaten and torn apart by the desolate beast. However, they were not worthy of sympathy. This was because their forefather had committed a mistake, and their forefather had to bear the consequences. Now, their forefather was able to save them. They were killed because of their forefather. Forefather, we are all going to die anyway. Kill ourselves. At least we can let our clansmen live. Ha ha ha, the strong prey on the weak. This time, it's our Iron Blood Alliance's fault. It's our fault. We have to pay the price in blood. Pu. An immortal king level 3 powerhouse's body trembled. He let out a bitter laugh as his palm landed directly on his head. They had lost, they had lost. They had lost because of their ingratitude and their greed. Dragon King, make these desolate beasts stop. We are willing to commit suicide. The Iron Blood Alliance leader's body trembled as he roared at Wang Xian. Buzz. Wang Xian waved his hand. Roar, roar, roar. At the next moment, the 60 tamed immortal king desolate beasts let out an angry roar. All the desolate beasts trembled and did not dare to continue attacking. They shrunk back in fear. Members of the Iron Blood Alliance, remember, do not avenge us. The 3 patriarchs closed their eyes weakly and spat out blood slowly. Forefathers. Some of the soldiers looked over and their faces were filled with tears. No, no, Dragon King. Our Iron Blood Alliance has already admitted our mistakes. Can't we just let us go? A middle-aged man glared at Wang Xian and shouted angrily. Boom. However, just as he finished his sentence, a terrifying claw struck directly at his position. No. The middle-aged man's face was filled with horror as he shouted in fear. Bang. As the claw landed, thousands of people around him were affected and died instantly. It's already merciful of me to let all of you off. The devouring dragon's cold voice resounded in everyone's ears. Wang Xian looked at him coldly. If the Dragon Palace was weak, would they let him off if the Dragon Palace begged for mercy? Obviously not. Chapter 2511. 2511 had become the king of this region. This. Within the black hole, everyone saw that because a soldier roared at the Dragon King, he was directly killed by the terrifying expert of the Dragon Palace, and thousands of people around him died because of his word. Everyone's hearts turned cold, and their eyes were filled with fear. Now, they truly realized that their lives and deaths were completely in the hands of the Dragon King. Because of their kindness and enmity, the Dragon King had come to destroy them. It was already merciful of the Dragon King to let them go. At this time, they also knew that if they dared to show any dissatisfaction, or even think about taking revenge on the Dragon King in the future, then the powerhouses of the Dragon Palace would destroy all of them now. This time, it's our fault. We've harmed you. Remember, don't take revenge. An Iron Blood Alliance elder stared at everyone sadly and roared softly. After they were killed, there wouldn't be a single undying emperor in the entire Iron Blood Alliance. It was impossible for the Iron Blood Alliance to take revenge for them. The entire Iron Blood Alliance had millions of years to reach their current level, and there were only 3 undying Emperor level 4 warriors. They could not be compared to the Dragon Palace and Dragon King. Taking revenge was courting death. It's the elder. All the soldiers looked at the powerhouses of the Iron Blood Alliance and lowered their heads slowly. Although the disaster this time was caused by the upper echelons of the Iron Blood Alliance, it was still for the sake of the entire Iron Blood Alliance. They had nothing to blame. Dragon King, I hope you can give us a way out. The experts from the Iron Blood Alliance looked at Wang Xian with pleading faces as they growled in a low voice. Hehe, all of you look like victims. Wang Xian looked at them with a mocking expression on his face. With his personality and the future plans of the Dragon Palace, with the strength of the Dragon Palace, would the Dragon Palace not help them when the Iron Blood Alliance gave the ocean to the Dragon Palace in the future? Obviously it was impossible. If they came to beg him, he would protect them too. But the Iron Blood Alliance wanted to kill him. What could they do? The Iron Blood Alliance was destroyed in our hands. The undying fighters muttered in despair. Pu pu pu. They all closed their eyes, their arms landing heavily on their heads. Very quickly, their bodies fell. The 40 or so Iron Blood Alliance undyings all committed suicide. Rumble, this. What do we do? What do we do? Not far away, a group of over 10 undyings stood there stiffly. Beside them, there were 5 powerful undyings. However, at this time, their foreheads were covered in cold sweat. Looking at the corpses of the Iron Blood Alliance, their bodies tremble. 40 undyings all committing suicide, even in their area. It was a shocking thing. The warriors of the Iron Blood Alliance all committed suicide. What about them? Wang. The Dragon King is looking at us. The Dragon King is looking at us. At this time, a youth suddenly said in fear, his voice even filled with tears. That's right, the Dragon King looked at them. A few of the young men cried out in fear. The 5 emissaries of the Blazing Flame Empire, the king of the Blazing Flame Empire, also trembled. His face was filled with panic. Gulp. They gulped and looked at the Dragon King with a pale face. I have a question. I don't know your Blazing Flame Empire at all. Why did you want to kill me? Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and asked the people from the Blazing Flame Divine Empire. We don't know either. We don't know either. The people immediately shook their heads and couldn't help but retreat backward. You don't know? How could you not know? Hehe, don't worry. I will destroy your Blazing Flame Divine Empire. All of you must die too. Wang Xian looked at them mockingly and said coldly, Roar. As soon as Wang Xian finished his sentence, the devouring dragon immediately attacked them. No, don't kill us. Don't kill us. Terrified pleas for mercy sounded. The blazing flame god roared at everyone with a face full of despair. Bang, bang, bang. However, in the next moment, the devouring dragon's attack landed on them. Soul Catcher. Wang Xian waved his arm and grabbed one of the emissaries and the prince. Buzz. Countless information appeared in his mind. Roar. After casting Soul Capture, the dragon claw of the devouring dragon pierced through their corpses. Boom. 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 One by one, the corpses fell to the ground and smashed onto the hearts of everyone from the Iron Blood Alliance. They naturally knew that the Blazing Flame Divine Empire was a powerful force from another region. The Iron Blood Alliance had always been trying to curry favor with them. Now that they had been killed by an expert from the Dragon Palace, they didn't take him seriously at all. At this moment, tens of billions of people from the Iron Blood Alliance looked at the figure floating in the sky. Their eyes were filled with respect and complicated feelings. The young master from the central region wants to kill himself. After a long while, Wang Xian, who was floating in the sky, slowly opened his eyes. His eyes were sparkling. He frowned slightly and a pensive look appeared on his face. There was only one person in the central area that he knew, the Queen of the Imperial Star. Is it because of her? Wang Xian mumbled and looked to the side. Aunt Ying and the Queen of the Imperial Star were hiding there. Buzz. He swept his gaze across the surroundings and waved his arm. The black hole disturbance formation slowly dissipated. At the same time, a corner of the Dragon Palace appeared behind him. Prime Minister Gui, bring some men over to take care of this place. Wang Xian immediately ordered Prime Minister Gui, who was in the Dragon Palace. It's the Dragon King. Prime Minister Gui's reply was heard immediately. How is this possible? How is this possible? At this moment, a voice filled with shock and horror resounded across the entire sky. Wang Xian looked over with a cold look in his eyes. At this moment, in the distant starry sky, the two level 5 immortal king powerhouses from the Blazing God dynasty were looking over with shocked expression. Ever since the strange formation enveloped this area, they had a bad premonition. They wanted to rush over and break the formation, but they were completely unable to break through the defense when facing three terrifying creatures. However, it had only been a few minutes. They actually saw the corpses of the experts from the Raging Flame Divine Empire and the experts from the Iron Blood Alliance. What made them especially terrified was that the corpses of the Iron Blood Alliance seemed to have committed suicide. This made their bodies tremble. Get out of this starry sky. It won't be long before my Dragon Palace sets foot on your Raging Flame Divine Empire. Wang Xian looked at the two defending generals of the Raging Flame Empire, his eyes filled with killing intent. Roar, roar, roar. The devouring dragon let out a violent roar and attacked them directly. Including this devouring dragon, there were a total of 4 immortal king level 5 powerhouses. Oh no, they have another immortal king level 5 powerhouse. Seeing a devouring dragon of the same level charging over, their hair stood on end. Chapter 2512. According to the latest news, the Iron Blood Alliance has been destroyed by the Dragon Palace. A powerful force on the other side of the Lawman Beast Garden, the Flame God dynasty, has been defeated. The Dragon Palace is going against the heavens. I've heard that they have a 5th Order Immortal King Realm expert. The Iron Blood Alliance and the Dongli Immortal Celestial Dynasty have been annihilated. Now, the Dragon Palace is the king of this region. A true king has been born. The current strength of the Dragon Palace is too strong. The current Dragon Palace can sweep away hundreds of thousands of our vital planet. The Dragon Palace announces that 2 months from now, on the Dragon Palace Battle Pet Planet next to Planet Dongkai, there will be a huge battle pet sale. After settling the matter with the Iron Blood Alliance, Wang Xian returned to the Dragon Palace and began taming the dire beasts. Then, the Dragon Palace announced on the artificial intelligence system that the second Dragon Palace Battle Pet Sale would be held in 2 months. The venue this time was located on a planet. That planet completely belonged to the Dragon Palace. It was used as the Dragon Palace's battle pet store. Only the current Dragon Palace could afford to spend so much. After the Dragon Palace announced the second sale, some forces received the news that the Iron Blood Alliance had been destroyed. When this news came out, it shocked everyone once again. By now, everyone knew that the Iron Blood Alliance had 3 4th Order Immortal God King Realm experts, and they were much stronger than the Dongli Immortal Dynasty. However, they were suddenly destroyed by the Dragon Palace. What kind of strength was this? Some forces went to the Iron and Blood Alliance to inquire about the situation. In the end, they learned that all the experts of the Iron and Blood Alliance had committed suicide, which made everyone dumbfounded. What kind of power could make tens of undying god kings commit suicide? The power of the Dragon Palace spread across hundreds of thousands of habitable planet. The Dragon Palace had completely become the new king of this region, an unrivaled king. The Dragon Palace being the king is beneficial to us. At the very least, the battle pets of the Dragon Palace are affordable. Besides, the Dragon Palace only occupies the ocean, not the land. The Dragon Palace's battle pet sale in 2 months is also a gathering of the Dragon Palace. I guess all the forces and deity kings will be there. That's for sure. The Dragon Palace has a 5th Order God King Realm expert. They're invincible here. After reading the news from the Dragon Palace, all the forces started to make preparations. Even if the Dragon Palace didn't say that all the forces should attend the sales fair, they weren't stupid. Not only did they have to go there early this time, but they also had to prepare some gifts to celebrate the Dragon Palace and the Dragon King. Time passed slowly. Wang Xian stayed in the Dragon Palace every day to tame the wild beast. The other members of the Dragon Palace were either improving their strength or preparing for the Dragon Palace's battle pet sale in 2 months. Now that the Dragon Palace controlled a lot of resources, the speed of improvement was also very terrifying. Roving Crab had the battle prowess of a 6th Order Undying God King, and the entire Devouring Dragon tribe numbered over 100,000. Among them, there were about 100 with Undying God King battle prowess. The rest were all at the Godlord level. The number of Dragon Palace Undying God Kings had reached 150, the rest were all Eternal God Lords at the 5th level and above. Dragon Palace was getting stronger and stronger. 2 months passed by slowly. It had been a year since Wang Xian arrived in this starry sky. Phew, I've finally tamed it. After 2 months of no rest, Wang Xian had finally tamed 400,000 to 500,000 wild beast. He heaved a heavy sigh of relief. With a flash, he went directly to the dragon throne in the Dragon King Hall and sat down. Xiao Xian, it's been hard on you. Hu Yang and Ling Jian walked over, massaged his shoulders and said with a smile, "It's all right, it's all right." Wang Xian patted their hands lightly. 2 months of sleepless nights, to an undying god king, there was no tiredness at all. Even if they did not sleep for tens or hundreds of years, it would not be a big problem. However, taming wild beasts was still mentally taxing. Prime Minister Turtle, how's everything going? Seeing Prime Minister Turtle walking in, he leaned on the dragon throne and asked, "Dragon King, everything is ready. In 2 days, all the forces and god kings in our region will basically be here. All the members of the Dragon Palace have also been upgraded. Everything is ready," Prime Minister Turtle reported with a smile. "All right, the sale will be held 2 days later." Wang Xian nodded. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. The Dragon Palace Battle Pet Planet, a planet newly named by the Dragon Palace, was located not far from the East Pool Planet. Today, the entire East Pool Planet was slightly desolate. This had never happened before. At the teleportation point, there were countless people queuing up to be teleported. The leaders and experts of various forces were leading their disciples. At a glance, there were hundreds of Undying God King expert. A few hundred Undying God Kings at a glance. What kind of concept was that? There were hundreds of thousands of living planets around, and all the Undying God Kings added up, there were only a few thousand of them. Now that there were a few hundred of them, one could imagine how many Undying God Kings would be here. So many people. Yeah, and so many God Kings. So many people, so many experts. Behind the teleportation formation, 4 girls were following behind dozens of Divine Master experts. As they looked around, they widened their eyes in shock as they exclaimed in surprise. "Hihi, you have to know, this is the Battle Pet Auction organized by the Dragon Palace, held on a single planet. Do you know about the Dragon Palace? Do you know about the Dragon King? Look at how weak you guys are. Where did you guys come from?" All of a sudden, a girl at the side heard their exclamation. She lifted her head slightly and spoke with a hint of disdain, as if she was showing off her superiority. "Of course we know about the Dragon Palace, the Dragon King. We've seen the Dragon King before. Hey, did you see him on the AI? Haha, the Dragon King is an Undying God King expert. Why don't you take a look at your own status? The Dragon King has 5th order Undying God King subordinates. The weakest is at least an Eternal God Lord." One of the girls heard the girl next to her and saw her arrogant look, so she said unhappily. However, before she could finish, the girl next to her looked at them with disdain, full of mockery. "You," the 4 girls blushed. "All right, little you, what's there to say to a few ignorant girls? Let's enter the teleportation point." A young man next to the girl looked at the 4 girls and said disdainfully, "Hehe, that's true." The girl smiled and nodded, then lifted her head slightly and stepped into the teleportation point. "We won't bother with them. Teacher told us to come, Mph." The 4 girls pouted and said, then stepped into the teleportation point. Wang. The scene flashed, and they arrived at a huge square. In front of the square, there was a huge picture of a divine dragon. The 10,000-meter-long divine dragon looked down at the sky, filled with an invincible aura. Chapter 25:13. What a majestic image of a divine dragon. Yeah, it's just a statue and it has such a powerful aura. The 4 girls looked around the plaza with their eyes wide open. "Girls, follow behind us. There are too many people here. Let's go to the front, where the battle pets are sold." An old man said to the 4 of them. "Yes, Principal." They hurriedly followed behind and walked forward. "That's the Northern Heaven Deity King. He hasn't established a force yet and is a 3rd-order Immortal King. I didn't expect him to be here today. That's the Tianyun Immortal Dynasty. The Tianyun Deity Emperor and the princes are here too. That's the Wansha Group. The chairman and the higher-ups are here too. Around them, Exclamations could be heard. The four girls widened their eyes and scanned their surroundings from time to time. They had learned some information about the hundreds of thousands of planets in the universe from the artificial intelligence system. Now that they saw these legendary figures, they were filled with awe. These immortal dynasties and deity kings were just like the legends. Our teacher is so powerful now. At the same time, the four of them looked at each other with pride and joy. For people of humble origins like them to have such a teacher paying attention to them, it was an incomparably great opportunity. That's the market. I heard that hundreds of millions of people will be able to enter this time. I wonder how many battle pets will be on sale this time. I hope I can get one, some of them discussed in hushed voices. Soon, the crowd gathered at the entrance. There was a huge arched door in the shape of a dragon, with members of the Dragon Palace standing in 2 rows. They held weapons in their hands, and each of them had combat strength no lower than a 5th-order Eternal God Lord. There were a total of 5,000 Dragon Palace Guard. At the front of the guards, there were 15 Immortal King-level members of the Dragon Palace guarding on both sides. SSS, 30 Immortal King experts are guarding the entrance. What kind of strength is this? So powerful. This is just a small part of the Dragon Palace's strength. All the experts and forces that arrived felt their hearts skip a beat. Even the voices of the surrounding people dropped. The group of people walked in with reverence in their hearts. Oh my God, these battle pets, so many battle pets. Crazy, crazy. Look ahead, look ahead. They're all Undying King battle pets. There are 80 of them. A whole 80. 80 Undying God King battle pets for sale. Fuck. The 5 battle pets in the center are all rank 4 Undying God King battle pet. 4th rank Undying God King battle pets are being sold in the Dragon Palace, and there are 4 of them. This air at this moment, a series of shocking voices came from the front. The people at the back who were about to enter froze. What? 80 Undying God King battle pets? How is that possible? Rank 4 Undying God King battle pet? Hiss, this level of desolate beast is enough to destroy our planet. Are you serious? 5 4th Order Immortal God King Realm battle pets. These 80 battle pets are enough to wipe out hundreds of thousands of planet. All the forces, all the experts, all the people were incomparably shocked. They knew that the Dragon Palace was powerful, but they didn't expect it to be this powerful. 80 Undying God King battle pets. Was this heaven-defying? 5 4th Order Immortal God King battle pets, not to mention 5, just 1 4th Order Immortal God King from the Dongli Immortal Dynasty was enough to make them invincible in this region. Now, the battle pets being sold by the Dragon Palace were enough to annihilate all of them. At this moment, all the Undying God Kings trembled. Which force could stand against such a force? Not only 80 Undying God King battle pets, there's also 4 to 500,000 Eternal God Lord battle pet. Another shocking voice came from the front. Eternal God Lords were already considered experts in this world, yet the Dragon Palace was selling 4 to 500,000 Eternal God Lord battle pet. This, rather than shock, there was also deep respect. Dragon Palace was invincible. The same thought appeared in the minds of all the experts. Their expressions change. Dragon King, the Dragon King has appeared. At this time, the first group saw a young man walking over and was slightly shocked. Greetings, Dragon King. They quickly bowed and greeted Wang Xian. At the back, the group also bowed when they heard the voice. Everyone, please take a look at the battle pets first. We'll talk about some things when we're done. Wang Xian smiled at them and waved his hand casually. Yes, Dragon King. The group continued walking in with smiles on their faces. This is the Dragon King, so handsome, much more handsome than the one on the AI. At the back, the 4 girls followed the crowd and walked in. At this time, a familiar voice came from the side. They turned around and saw that it was the girl from not long ago. What are you looking at? You've met the Dragon King now, haven't you? In the future, the 4 of you can brag to others. That girl noticed the 4 of them looking at her, lifted her head slightly and said plainly, let's go find the Dragon King. At this time, the Shentian Academy principal turned to the 4 girls and shot a glance at that girl. Yes, The 4 girls ignored that girl and followed behind immediately. Heh! She was slightly taken aback as she looked at the group of them. A person from a small place wants to talk to the Dragon King? Do you think you're qualified? Why don't you take a look in the mirror? This. As she spoke, her body stiffened very quickly. Her face was filled with shock as she stared ahead. There, the Dragon King was talking to the group of old men. Soon, the Dragon King touched the heads of the 4 girls. This caused her to widen her eyes in disbelief. Those people should be from Tianza continent. The palace of the Dragon King is there now. Who are those 4 girls? They seem to be on good terms with the Dragon King. I think they are the 4 students that the Dragon King taught casually before he rose to power. Although they aren't disciples, the 4 girls have achieved great success. Not only have they achieved great success, but even the divine sons and princes of the powerful forces can't be compared to them. Even the deity king has to be polite to the 4 girls who are at the divine state. Sounds of discussion could be heard from the surroundings. All the forces had to think of ways to please the Dragon King. As for those who were close to the Dragon King, they would naturally ask around so that they wouldn't even know how they died. How is this possible? A cry of disbelief came from her mouth. Xiao Yu, apologize to those 4 girls later. You must get their forgiveness. Otherwise, we won't be able to protect you. At this time, an old man in front suddenly stared at her and said with a sullen face. The girl's heart turned cold. Her body trembled. Chapter 25:14. The 4 of you aren't too bad, you've already ignited 6 divine fires. Wang Xian patted the heads of the 4 girls at the plaza of the Dragon Palace's bazaar. Speaking of which, the 4 of them were Wang Xian's real students. He had also imparted the curse inheritance to them. Now that they had ignited 6 divine fires in a year, they were considered to be very talented. Of course, this was also due to the Shentian territory's intensive nurturing after Wang Xian left. Now, the 4 of them had a much higher status than the Shentian descendants in the Shentian territory. This is all because of teacher. However, we still embarrassed teacher. The 4 of them lowered their heads and said softly, bring them to a place to rest and give them the 4 fruit. Wang Xian gestured to a Dragon Palace civil servant and said, yes, Dragon King. The civil official immediately nodded respectfully. Wang Xian called the 4 students over, mainly to give each of them an eternal pregnancy fruit. Now that there were many of these fruits in the Dragon Palace, he might as well give them to the 4 of them. After all, the 4 of them were his students. After chatting with Commander Xian and the rest for a while, Wang Xian looked around. At this moment, the plaza was filled with people, about 100 million people. He took a glance and saw that there were over 1,000 Undying God King expert. Over 1,000 Undying God Kings, this was already a lot. After all, many Undying God Kings needed to guard a region and could not leave on their own accord. Other than the Undying God Kings, the rest were mostly God Lords. The God Realm cultivators that came all had decent backgrounds. The experts from the various forces gathered around the battle pets, their eyes burning with passion. The prices of the Dragon Palace battle pets are the same as before, very cheap, but we still can't afford them. Rank 4 Undying God King battle pets, a total of 5 of them, we can't afford them even if we sell everything we have. In the past, I thought we had a lot of resources, but now, we can't afford them. In the center, a dozen rank 3 Undying God King experts stood there. They were the leaders of the 4th-rated forces, considered very powerful in this region. But looking at the battle pets in front of them, their eyes lit up. They couldn't afford them. Rank 4 Undying God King battle pets, even if they sold everything they had, they still couldn't afford them. After all, that was a battle pet that was more powerful than them. Forget it, let's go take a look at the other God King battle pets. If we grit our teeth, we can buy a rank 3 Undying God King battle pet. I don't think anyone in this area can afford the 5 battle pet. The leaders of the few forces shook their heads helplessly and walked to the side. Wang Xian looked over and frowned slightly. Can't afford it. I don't think they can afford it. A 4th Order Immortal God King battle pet is worth a fortune even in the entire resplendent area. Wang Xian mumbled to himself before shaking his head speechlessly. He had thought that he could improve his strength by selling the battle pets. It seemed that he was doomed. No one in this area can afford it. Looks like I'll have to sell it in other areas, but I'm not sure about the other areas either. A contemplative look appeared on his face. In this region, Dragon Palace had already become the king. He had reached his upper limit. If he wanted to continue to improve, he would have to enter a stronger region. But now, Dragon Palace had to settle down and move to a stronger region, which would take at least a year. Dragon King, all the Eternal God Lord battle pets have been sold. Except for the 5 Immortal God King battle pets, the rest have all been sold. An hour later, Prime Minister Turtle walked over and reported to Wang Xian, only the 5 Fourth Order Immortal God King battle pets are left. Wang Xian mumbled to himself. It was just as he had expected. They could afford a 3rd Order Immortal God King battle pet if they grit their teeth. But a 4th Order Immortal God King battle pet was not something that these forces could afford. I'll invite all the forces to a banquet in an hour, Wang Xian said to Prime Minister Turtle. Yes, Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle nodded. Today was not only the Dragon Palace's battle pet sale. Dragon Palace also had something to announce. Soon, everyone knew that Dragon Palace had invited all the forces and Immortal God King experts to a banquet. Regarding this, the forces were not too surprised. After all, Dragon Palace was now the new king. Naturally, there would be some new rules. Regarding Dragon Palace, they were more relaxed. They had also done some research and found out that Dragon King was not a bossy person. Everyone, please take a seat. An hour later, beside the Dragon Palace's battle pet sale, in an even more luxurious plaza, tables and chairs were arranged neatly, and there was a lot of food on them. Wang Xian sat on the dragon throne right at the front. One by one, the experts from the forces entered, cupped their fists towards Wang Xian, and sat in front of the tables and chairs. Over 1,000 Immortal God King experts had arrived. Greetings, Dragon King. When everyone arrived, a few experts stood up and greeted Wang Xian respectfully. Everyone, please take a seat. There's no need to be so reserved. Today, I've invited all of you here to discuss a few things and make some announcement. I won't beat around the bush. Today, Dragon Palace announced that in this region, hundreds of thousands of human planets, we will be recruiting marine creatures as disciples. We only recruit members of the marine species. I hope that everyone can cooperate and inform your planet. Wang Xian waved to the crowd and said with a smile, Dragon King, such a small matter, we promise to complete it. The forces replied immediately, Hihi, then I'll have to thank everyone. Wang Xian nodded with a smile and raised his glass to the crowd. The experts immediately picked up their glasses. Secondly, there's another matter that I would like to cooperate with all of you on. Of course, it doesn't matter if you agree or not. Our Dragon Palace operates in the ocean, and each planet only occupies the ocean. We want to enter the oceans of all planets and build the Dragon Palace there. Of course, once we enter a planet, we will assist you to guard the planet and eliminate external threat. Next, Wang Xian started to converse with the various forces. According to the Dragon Palace's plan, the Dragon Palace would enter the oceans of all planets and assist the forces on land to guard the planet together. If there were external threats, the Dragon Palace would eliminate them. For those planets that were not threatened by dire beasts, the Dragon Palace was willing to exchange their existing planets and land. The planets that were previously controlled by the Dongli Immortal Celestial Dynasty and the 100 planets controlled by the Iron Blood Alliance were all better planets in this region. Of course, the Dragon Palace also guaranteed that they would not interfere in their affairs. After more than an hour of discussion, all the forces agreed readily. This situation was also tied to the Dragon Palace. Although the Dragon Palace would not intervene when other forces invaded, they would at least lend a hand if there were dire beasts invading. Chapter 2515. The chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom was located in the South Star Galaxy. The Imperial Star region was a huge region divided into 9 galaxies, 3 small cosmic islands, and a large central island. The region that Wang Xian was in now was at the edge of the South Star Galaxy, while the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom was at the center of the galaxy. In the Imperial Star region, The small cosmic islands were at the center of the Imperial Star region, while the central cosmic island occupied by the Imperial Court was at the core. The chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom was an eternal celestial dynasty with sky beasts as their main force. They were considered average among the second-rate forces, but in the center of the South Star Galaxy, they were considered the overlord. Recently, all the citizens of the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom could feel a joyous atmosphere. Be it the orders from the king or the benefits, they were all surprising. The sacred palace of the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom was located in a huge canyon. At the entrance, there were two huge statues of roaring divine tigers. The entire statue covered an area of 10 kilometers, and was extremely majestic. In a study room within the sacred palace of the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom, an elegant-looking middle-aged man sat beside a burly old man with the word Wang carved on his forehead. The two of them were chatting happily. At this moment, the middle-aged man sensed the information on the artificial intelligence system. He was taken aback when he saw the name displayed on it. He immediately opened it, and when he saw the contents inside, his face was filled with astonishment. "Brother, what's the matter?" the old man asked when he saw the expression of the state preceptor of the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom. "Brother who? It's the information about the Dragon King. He's the leader of a force that we met in the Lawman Beast Garden," the state preceptor said to the old man immediately. "Oh, the Dragon King with 6 5th-rank Immortal King Realm warriors under him that you mentioned? It's surprising that they have such strength at the edge of the South Star Galaxy." The old man nodded and said, "Brother who, the strength of the Dragon King might be stronger than we imagined. He sent me a message asking if the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom is interested in his battle pets. He has 5 Immortal King battle pets for sale," the state preceptor said with flickering eyes. 5 4th-rank Immortal King battle pets? This Dragon King isn't simple. The old man raised his eyebrows. "Brother who, do we want these battle pets?" the Imperial tutor asked. "Yes, of course. Grandpa Yi is about to break through. When the time comes, we will hold a celebration to show off the chaotic Tiger Celestial Dynasty's prestige and strength. 4th-rank Immortal King Realm battle pets are rare in our area. At that time, we will use the 4th Order Undying God King wild beasts as beasts to show off our might," the old man said immediately. "All right, I'll bring some people there and make friends with them." The Imperial advisor nodded and immediately replied with a message. The old man nodded with a smile on his face. "Oh, I have the intention to buy it. It will arrive in a few days." In the Dragon Palace of Tianza Continent, Wang Xian smiled when he saw the reply from the Grand Preceptor of Tiger Chaos Demon Kingdom. As long as they bought it, he would be able to increase his strength. Furthermore, with the resources he needed, selling a rank 4 Undying God King battle pet was more than enough. The rest of the resources could increase Dragon Palace's combat power by at least 23 5th Order Undying Gods. It could greatly enhance the high-end combat power of the Dragon Palace. "Dragon King, there are 2 people outside requesting an audience. One is a veiled girl and the other is a woman." At this moment, a patrolling yakshaw came in and reported to Wang Xian. "Oh, they're here." Wang Xian raised his eyebrows. With a swift move, he flew out. At the same time, above the Dragon Palace, Emperor Star Maiden and Aunt Ying sized up the Dragon Palace with curiosity. This was their first time coming to the Dragon Palace. Looking at the towering palace on the seabed, they were filled with amazement. "Welcome, beautiful Star Maiden," Wang Xian greeted with a smile as he flew out and saw the two of them. "Don't talk about these useless things. You said that you can upgrade the snake to a rank 4 or 5 Undying God King within a year or 2, and now you want me to remind you that I have to come personally." Emperor Star Maiden looked at Wang Xian with dissatisfaction. "I've been too busy recently. Come, follow me in, I'll help you upgrade now." Wang Xian smiled and gestured for them to enter the Dragon Palace. The moment they stepped into the Dragon Palace, the two of them felt the substantial law energy. Their eyes widened and were filled with astonishment. Is this the foundation of the Dragon King? Is this the reason why you can upgrade so quickly?" Aunt Ying looked around and couldn't help but ask. Such a place was far from comparable to the Grotto Heavens in the Imperial Court. Such intense law energy. No wonder you can upgrade so quickly. A day of cultivation here is equivalent to a year in the outside world. Emperor Star Maiden opened her mouth slightly and her eyes flickered. For the past half a year, they had been living in seclusion in Mo Lin's celestial residence. However, they had been paying close attention to the Dragon Palace. Especially in the past half a year, they could obtain all kinds of information from the artificial intelligence system. They could clearly sense that the Dragon Palace was suppressing the entire region at a terrifying speed. Based on their judgment, there were no less than 200 undying god kings in the Dragon Palace. A faction with 200 undying god kings, even in a second-rate faction, would be considered quite strong. The improvement of the Dragon Palace was too terrifying. Hihi, let the snake out. I'll be able to upgrade it in the next few days. Wang Xian smiled as he said to her, "All right, do you still have a place to stay? We'll be staying here from now on." Emperor Star Maiden squinted her eyes and said, "All right, I've already invited you over as a guest. I'll arrange for someone to bring you there later." Wang Xian didn't mind. They were indebted to Qing Yu and the rest. Helping them and letting them stay here was a small matter. "Thank you." The Emperor Star Maiden smiled at Wang Xian. "This guy is finally doing something." Wang Xian smiled and brought the snake to the dragon transformation pool. He paired the dragon blood with some treasures to help it upgrade. "Grandpa Grand Tutor, look at the information from the artificial intelligence system in this region. The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace is the king of this region." 2 days later, dozens of figures appeared in front of the Iron Blood Alliance. One of the girls looked through the information of this area with her brain and said with a slight surprise, "With their strength, it's not surprising that they're the king of this region." Sky Demon Grand Tutor looked around, took out the artificial intelligence system, and sent a message to Wang Xian. "I'll inform the Dragon King. Let's go to a planet in front. He'll be here to pick us up soon." Soon, Sky Demon Grand Tutor received the message and said to the crowd, Chapter 2516, Sky Demon Imperial Tutor and the rest were both guests and customers. Wang Xian brought them to Dongkai Planet for some delicacies before arranging for them to stay at the Dragon Palace. A level 6 Dragon Palace could already be considered as a paradise. Sky Demon Imperial Tutor and the rest were very satisfied with Wang Xian's reception. After receiving the divine stones from Wang Xian, they immediately informed the chaotic Tiger Demon Empire to purchase a large number of elixir pills. The divine stones in Wang Xian's hands were not a small number. These divine stones were enough to exchange for a large number of resources. Next, Wang Xian began to assist the experts from the chaotic Tiger Demon Empire in taming the 5 wild beast. Great-grandfather Imperial Tutor, this Dragon King is so powerful. Look at the information on the artificial intelligence system. TSK, it feels like he's even more powerful than our chaotic tiger immortal dynasty. In the residence of the chaotic Tiger Demon Empire in the Dragon Palace, Tiger Lingya flipped through all kinds of information about the Dragon Palace and the Dragon King and exclaimed in shock. "Yeah, very powerful indeed. The speed of his rise is very fast." Sky Demon Imperial Tutor nodded and was slightly shocked. Over the past 2 days, he had also looked at the information on the artificial intelligence system in this region and was also slightly shocked by the power of the Dragon Palace. He was also full of curiosity and amazement towards the Dragon King, powerful beast taming ability, creepy array that trapped deity kings, powerful members of the Dragon Palace. This gave him a general understanding of this force. Sir Imperial Tutor. At this time, 2 figures walked over and greeted them respectfully. How's the surrounding area?" Sky Demon Imperial Tutor looked at them and asked. The 2 of them had gone out to check out the surrounding information. Of course, the main reason was to find out about the Dragon Palace. "Sir Imperial Tutor, we did not go deep into the area. Based on our simple investigation, this region and the oceans of hundreds of thousands of habitable planets are all under the control of the Dragon Palace. Now, many powerful forces in this region feel that the Dragon Palace is an invincible existence. That's because some of the people they sent out are stronger than them. Someone on the artificial intelligence system guessed that the Dragon Palace has more than 200 immortal king experts. However, some major forces said that the Dragon Palace has no less than 300 immortal king expert. The two of them reported, their eyes filled with shock. Their chaotic tiger demon empire's divine king powerhouses were merely around 300 at present. However, this Dragon Palace had at least 300 undying god kings. How could they not be shocked? Dragon Palace can't be underestimated. In less than a year, they sold over 100 immortal god king battle pets. They might have more god kings than we expected. The imperial tutor sighed with emotion. That's amazing. That Dragon King is so easygoing and energetic, but I didn't expect him to have such a powerful force. Tiger Lingya said enviously. This Dragon Palace is worth befriending. If we have time, we can communicate more, the imperial preceptor mumbled to himself. On the third day, the chaotic tiger demon kingdom sent over the pills that Wang Xian needed to buy, and Wang Xian also helped tame the 4th level immortal king realm beast. Thank you, imperial tutor. I've troubled you this time. Wang Xian received all the rewards and expressed his gratitude to them. Haha, don't stand on ceremony, Dragon King. One more friend means one more path. Our Tiger Chaos Immortal Dynasty is willing to be friends with the Dragon Palace. The imperial tutor laughed heartily. Our Dragon Palace is also willing to make friends with you. Wang Xian extended his hand and shook it. All right, Dragon King, come to our Tiger Luan Immortal Celestial Dynasty when you have time. Let us receive you well. The imperial tutor invited. There should be a chance. Wang Xian nodded. All right, it's a deal. We'll make a move first. See you in the future. The imperial tutor cupped his fists at Wang Xian and led the group away. Wang Xian sent them off into the sky and disappeared with a smile on his face. Befriending the chaotic tiger demon kingdom was also beneficial for the Dragon Palace. At the very least, the chaotic tiger demon kingdom had helped a little this time, and even bought 5 4th level immortal king realm battle pet. This time, my strength can be enhanced. Wang Xian looked at the resources in his hands. With a swift move, he flew towards the Dragon Palace. Wang. After entering the Dragon Palace, he immediately returned to the Tianzi Continent Dragon Palace and appeared in the Dragon King Hall. Roar. He let out a soft roar and turned into a 7-colored divine dragon. He hovered in front of the dragon throne, took out the pills and consumed them quickly. Wang Xian's source dragon energy increased at a terrifying speed as he swallowed a large number of pills. Ding! Congratulations to the host for leveling up to rank 9 Eternal Divine Lord. Name, Wang Xian Race. Yin-Yang 5 Elements Divine Dragon, 1 with the Dragon. Level, rank 9 Eternal Divine Lord, 6 Transformation of Divine Dragon Transformation. Source Force, 32434410000000 Superpower. Dominate the marine animals. Rule any marine animals that are lower than your own level, devour living creatures, extract source force from living creatures, 5 elements control art of cultivation, divine dragon transformation superpowers, soul assimilation, spiritual attachment, yin-yang. 5 elements dragonized armor, 5 elements grindstone, dragon country in the palm, dragon head descending, 10,000 miles dragon body, yin-yang 2 poles, yin-yang 5 elements bowl, divine dragon tail whip. Law of nature, metal, wood, water, fire, earth, light, darkness, rank 9, God Kingdom. Dragon Palace owned Dragon Palace. Level 7 Dragon Palace members, 379844 soon, the system notification sounded. Wang Xian shuddered, and a majestic dragon aura swept across the surrounding. The 7-colored law formed the shadow of a divine dragon, circling around him. Wang Xian opened his eyes, and his pupils seemed to contain the starry sky. Roar. He couldn't help but let out a deep roar, and his eyes were filled with excitement. Just one more level. Once I break through to the Immortal King realm, I will have the strength of a rank 7 Immortal King. Wang Xian looked at his attributes and smiled. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Crackle, crackle, ding. Congratulations, host. A new dragon species has been born in the Dragon Palace, the Heavenly Lightning and Earthly Fire Dragon and Phoenix species. At this time, the cry of a phoenix accompanied by the roar of thunder reverberated throughout the entire Dragon Palace. Following which, the system notification sounded, and Wang Xian was taken aback. Huh! This is. His face lit up, and he immediately flew towards the dragon transformation pool. At this time, above the dragon transformation pool, 2 fiery red phoenixes were circling in the sky. Their wings were swaying, and they looked extremely beautiful. There was a lightning dragon circling around them, making them look even more majestic and arrogant. Heavenly lightning and earthly fire dragon and phoenix species. What is this? Wang Xian looked at the 2 phoenixes, and his eyes sparkled. Xiao Xian. At this time, the 2 phoenixes also looked at Wang Xian, and flew over with joy. Shuqing, Fengwan, you guys have evolved. Wang Xian went up to them and said with joy. Xiao Xian, when the Dragon Palace obtained the Wutong tree, it intertwined with the Nirvana Thunder tree and underwent changes. With the addition of the dragon and phoenix blood, we evolved. After this evolution, we are much stronger than before. I feel like we can fight against those who are 4 levels higher. The 2 girls exclaimed in surprise. What? Fighting against those who are 4 levels higher? This has surpassed the pinnacle dragon species of the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian was slightly shocked, and soon, he was overjoyed. Chapter 25:17. The Divine Dragon Clan, the strongest dragon species in the Dragon Palace, was only comparable to a pure divine dragon. Even the Berserk dragon species was only comparable to the Wind Divine Dragon, Fire Divine Dragon, and the other 7 types of Divine Dragon. However, the combination of the Divine Wutong tree, the Thunder Nirvana tree, and the Dragon Blood and Phoenix Blood gave birth to the Heavenly Lightning Earthly Fire Dragon and Phoenix Sea. This dragon species was comparable to the rare dragon species of the Divine Dragon race, such as the Bone Dragon, the Frost Divine Dragon, and some other multi-elemental Divine Dragon. Bone Dragon, Frost Divine Dragon. This kind of Divine Dragon, even in the glorious era of the Divine Dragon race, was very, very rare. There were only 2 or 3 of the most powerful Divine Dragons, the 5 Elements Divine Dragons and the Light and Dark Divine Dragons. Now, Guan Shuqing and Feng Luan's Heavenly Lightning and Earthly Fire Dragon and Phoenix Seeds were the pinnacle existences in the universe. In the past, in the entire universe, there were no more than 50 creatures that could be stronger than this dragon. One could imagine what kind of existence it was. Our evolution must have a lot to do with the progenitor tree, Feng Luan said, her face full of smiles. In the past, it was already not bad if they could fight someone 1 or 2 ranks higher than them, but now, they could fight someone 4 ranks higher. Their current battle prowess had already reached the 5th order Undying God King realm. That's a good thing. Oh right, has the giant galactic beast, Stand Serpent, evolved? Wang Xian looked to the side of the dragon transformation pool. It has already evolved. Guan Shuqing and the rest nodded. They knew about the Stand Snake and the girl who came to the Dragon Palace. However, Wang Xian quickly explained that the Emperor Star Maiden and the rest were the benefactors of Qingyu and Lingxiu. Even so, the group of girls looked him up and down for a long time, and even said, "Are you going to repay me with your body?" At that time, Wang Xian was speechless. He had to coax the girls for a long time before he could appease them. "Yen, that's good." Wang Xian nodded his head and looked at Feng Luan Shuqing. "As for the fire phoenixes in the past, you guys can let them evolve. After they evolve, even if they can't fight 4 levels higher than you guys, they can still fight 3 levels higher and become the pinnacle dragon species of the Dragon Palace." "Alright, Xiao Xian. Did your strength increase just now?" Guan Shuqing nodded. "Well, I'm going to upgrade the high-end combat power of the Dragon Palace," Wang Xian replied. After exchanging a few more words with the 2 girls, he returned to the Dragon King Hall and immediately ordered Prime Minister Turtle to gather all the Undying God King members of the Dragon Palace. Not including the Devouring Dragon, the Undying God King had around 500 members. Wang Xian took out the resources from selling the 5 Undying God King battle pets and devoured them to help them improve their strength. The resources he used to upgrade himself were not even worth the price of an immortal God King battle pet. He still had enough resources for the members of Dragon Palace to upgrade. In the next few days, the number of 5th Order God King realm immortals in the Dragon Palace reached 38. Including the Devouring Dragon, there were a total of 45. The only 6th Order Undying God King was Aosia. Next, I need to stabilize my strength and master some formations. After all the members had leveled up, Wang Xian decided to settle down. He needed to settle down, and so did the members of the Dragon Palace. The strength of the 5 doppelgangers in the 5 elements grindstone was now exactly the same as him. Wang Xian could also use the spirit arrays that they controlled immediately. However, this was not enough. They also had to settle down and master more array formations. In the next few months, Wang Xian immersed himself in the spirit arrays. In the outside world, the hundreds of thousands of planets in the starry sky had also calmed down. As the Dragon Palace had helped them resolve the external threats, this region gradually became lively and bustling, especially the East Pool planet. It was much more lively than before. The Dragon Palace grew stronger every day. Because of the suppression of the Dragon Palace, the oceans were calm. The Emperor Star Princess also refused to leave the Dragon Palace. Because a day of cultivation in the Dragon Palace was equivalent to a year of cultivation for her. In these days, they had also witnessed the strength of the Dragon Palace. This made Aunt Ying want the Emperor Star Princess to hug Wang Xian's thigh tightly. As long as they hugged the thigh of the Dragon Palace, it would definitely be beneficial to them in the future. While the Dragon Palace was improving rapidly, the Blazing God Dynasty opposite the Lawman Desolate Beast Garden was also paying attention to the development of the Dragon Palace. As they saw the Dragon Palace getting stronger and stronger, their faces turned uglier by the day. They contacted the young master in the central region, but that young master also fell silent and did not reply. This made the God Emperor of the Blazing God Dynasty extremely worried. What if the Dragon Palace attacked one day? How were they going to defend? This made the Blazing God Dynasty nervous. They started to think of ways to establish relations with other forces and climb up to the stronger forces. Time passed slowly. 8 months passed in the blink of an eye. These 8 months were like a snap of the fingers to the universe. Ha ha ha, finally. Finally. However, this period of time was a long wait for the entire chaotic tiger demon country. They were waiting for this voice. When this voice sounded, a majestic figure floated in the sky behind the divine palace of the chaotic tiger demon country. This majestic old man had a white divine tiger totem on his back. The divine tiger was lifelike and filled with endless majesty. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. At this moment, the surrounding figures flew over. When they saw the majestic figure in the sky, their faces were filled with excitement. The king of the chaotic tiger demon country, who was wearing a tiger robe and had the word king on his forehead, clenched his fists in excitement. Congratulations to the old marshal for breaking through to the 7th Order Immortal King realm. Congratulations to the chaotic tiger demon country. Congratulations to the chaotic tiger demon country. Everyone roared with excitement. Ha ha ha. The old marshal laughed heartily. Congratulations to you, old brother. You're one step ahead of us. Your breakthrough is a great fortune for the entire chaotic tiger demon country. With this advancement, we can take another step forward. We can now kill our enemies with our own hands. Ha ha, soon, it will be the 20 million year anniversary of our chaotic tiger demon country's founding. The 20 million year dynasty founding ceremony is the time for our chaotic tiger demon country to showcase our strength. It will also be a time for everyone to be shocked. The 2 old men by the side clenched their fists as they spoke passionately. Great, great, great. We'll invite everyone to the banquet. The old marshal clenched his fists and roared in a low voice. Get ready. For the 20 million year dynasty founding ceremony, we'll invite everyone, be it friend or foe. Hee hee. The king of the chaotic tiger demon country waved his arm and ordered loudly. Yes. Everyone nodded excitedly. Phew, half a year has passed. I've more or less mastered all the arrays. At the same time, in the Dragon Palace, Wang Xian stretched his body and muttered to himself. In 8 months' time, all 8 of his doppelgangers had comprehended the arrays at the same time. In terms of arrays, he could already trap and kill 5th Order Immortal King Realm expert. Now that there were 5 5th Order Immortal King Realm doppelgangers in the 5 elements grindstone, it was even more terrifying. It's about time. Now that the speed of improvement of the members of the Dragon Palace has slowed down, it's time to enter the center of the South Star system. Wang Xian muttered to himself. The Dragon Palace's foundation was almost complete. Chapter 25:18. Wang Xian and the group flew out of the Dragon Palace and surveyed their surroundings in the desolate ocean of the planet. This was not the first time Wang Xian had come to this planet. The Dragon Palace was built by him. There were no humans on this barren planet. There were not many creatures in the ocean. The main purpose of the Dragon Palace was to build a teleportation formation. It would take at least a month to fly here from Tianzi continent. It would also take 5 to 6 days to fly from Lorman Desolate Beast Garden. Wang Xian and the group hovered above the planet and immediately searched for the location of the chaotic tiger demon country. Wang Xian took a look at the route planned by the artificial intelligence system. The center of the South Star Galaxy was more prosperous than the starry sky of Tianzi continent. Once they reached the nearest planet, they would be able to teleport. After a few transfers, it would only take them a few hours to reach their destination. If they were to fly, even an immortal king would need a few months. According to the artificial intelligence system, there were more than 1 billion planets in the center of the South Star Galaxy. There were close to 1 million habitable planets for humans. Even an immortal king would need at least half a year to travel across the entire galaxy, and this was flying at top speed without any rest. I've been to the South Star Galaxy a few times. There are a total of 5 commercial planets. This time, our concert will be held on Xinghua planet, which isn't far from the chaotic tiger demon country. Emperor Star Maiden looked at the map and said, "Let's fly to the nearest planet first. It will take about 10 hours. Wang Xian looked at the distance and said, "Dragon King, since you guys are so rich, you should buy a spaceship. Then, you don't have to travel by yourself." Emperor Star Maiden teased Wang Xian. "Where's the spaceship of a superstar like you?" Wang Xian asked her. He knew that Emperor Star Maiden had a rather fast spaceship. "My spaceship can only carry about a dozen people," she said plainly. "Flying isn't bad either. We can see the scenery of the universe," Tang Yinxian said with a smile. "Sister Yinxian, you can see the scenery if you're strong. But I'm different," Emperor Star Maiden said enviously. She now understood the strength of the Dragon Palace. Sister Yinxian, who was younger than her, had the combat strength of a second-stage immortal king. When she found out, she was shocked beyond word. "Hehe, let me help you improve your strength." Tang Yinxian smiled at her, and the group flew toward the nearest planet. The 2 girls beside him were chatting non-stop, and their chatter made the journey a little livelier. Wang Xian smiled at the side. Yinxian loved singing. This time, she had found a like-minded friend. 10 hours later, the group arrived at a planet and began teleporting through the teleportation circle. After 5 transfers, they arrived at the planet where the chaotic tiger demon kingdom was located. This time, the chaotic tiger demonic kingdom is holding a very big event. They have invited many big and small forces. After all, this is a celebration of the founding of the dynasty. It has a lot of historical significance. I heard that they even invited their old enemy, the Monster Slayer sect. TSK. It seems like they want to intimidate the Monster Slayer sect. They have been enemies with the Monster Slayer sect for tens of millions of years, and their strength is about the same. As soon as he stepped out of the teleportation formation, the bustling noises entered his mind. It was obviously much livelier than the previous few transit planet. Wang Xian looked around and realized they were in a huge canyon in the mountains. There were all kinds of buildings on the surrounding mountains. The buildings were a little strange, and were obviously in the style of the demonic beast clan. At this time, the surroundings of the teleportation formation were filled with forces from all over. Wang Xian looked around and realized there were many expert. Just around the area, there were thousands of immortal God King expert. This is indeed the center of the South Star system. Wang Xian murmured. "Please show me your invitation letter." At this time, 2 middle-aged men with wings walked over and spoke politely. "Here you go." Wang Xian handed over the invitation letter. "Honorable Dragon King, please follow us." When the 2 middle-aged men saw the invitation letter, they immediately showed great respect and said respectfully, "Let's go." Wang Xian looked around. Clearly, Their invitation letter was a little different from the others. Honorable Dragon King, we will bring you into the Demon God Palace. The two middle-aged men from the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom said respectfully. Wang Xian nodded his head. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Soon, a huge bird with a length of about 500 meters flew over. The two soldiers from the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom signaled to them. Wang Xian and the group immediately flew up. Chirp, chirp. The birds and beasts flew towards the mountains ahead. Demonic beasts loved mountains and forests. Two incomparably huge statues of divine tigers appeared in front of everyone. A vast and barren palace appeared in front of them. In the sky, a group of soldiers with wings swept past them and allowed them to enter. The birds and beasts entered the palace and landed on a small grassland not long after. Ha ha ha, Dragon King, welcome to our chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom. Thank you for coming. Just as they landed, the imperial tutor of the chaotic Tiger Immortal Dynasty, who had received the news, welcomed them enthusiastically. Haha, since the imperial tutor has invited us with great hospitality, it's only natural for us to come. Wang Xian walked over and shook hands with him. It's our honor. Please come in, Dragon King. We have prepared a banquet. The imperial tutor said enthusiastically. All right. Wang Xian nodded his head with a smile and followed the imperial tutor into the palace. Along the way, the imperial tutor introduced some of the items in the palace to Wang Xian, introduced the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom and this celebration. You must be the Dragon King, young and promising. When the group entered a palace, a burly old man in a tiger robe with the word Wang on his forehead welcomed them with a smile. Dragon King, this is the king of our chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom. The imperial tutor introduced to Wang Xian, king of the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom. I've long heard of your name. Wang Xian smiled and cupped his fists at the old man. Haha, you're welcome. Speaking of which, we still have to thank you for what happened previously. Come, take a seat since you've come from afar. Have some food first. I'll get someone to bring you to your resting place later. The king of the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom gestured to Wang Xian courteously. Ever since the imperial tutor and the rest returned and heard some news about the Dragon Palace, the king of the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom and the rest believed that the strength of the Dragon Palace should not be underestimated. Even if they were not as strong as the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom, they were not inferior to them. Therefore, he discussed with the imperial tutor and allowed them to stay in the palace. Moreover, he invited them to a banquet in advance to build a good relationship with them. It could be said that the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom placed the most importance on the Dragon Palace in this celebration, because the Dragon Palace might become their true friend. This was something that the other forces in this region could not compare to. Chapter 25:19, Heavenly Monarch Tiger is too polite. Seeing how polite the king of Tiger was, Wang Xian smiled and sat at the side. Tang Yinxian, Prime Minister Turtle, and the Imperial Star Princess sat beside him. Haha, you are a guest. We naturally have to entertain you well. The ruler of Tiger waved his hand, served the dishes and wine. Who would have expected the Tiger Chaos Demon Empire to place so much importance on Wang Xian and his friends, to the point of inviting them to a private banquet? The Emperor Star Maiden muttered in a low voice when she saw this scene. The chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom was considered a second-rate power. Such strength was already considered not bad. In the Imperial Star region, only a few of the more monstrous disciples had second-rate powers following them. The other disciples would at most have third-rate factions following them. However, she also knew that the Dragon Palace's current strength was already considered a second-rate force, and the potential of the Dragon Palace was even more terrifying. It was reasonable for the chaotic Tiger Demon Kingdom to pay attention to him. The banquet began. Good wine, good dishes, singing and dancing began. These heavenly demon dancers were clearly different from human women. Their dancing styles were also unique. Wang Xian, Prime Minister Turtle, Lord Tiger and the Sky Demon Imperial Tutor conversed from time to time. The banquet was joyous and harmonious. Dragon King, I see that you have a peerless swordsman beside you. Can you let this brother spar with me? Hehe, I see that the sword radiance of these brothers is extremely sharp. My true form is a saber-toothed tiger sky demon, and I devour swords as much as my life. After 3 rounds of drinks, the 2 generals of the Tiger Chaos Demon Kingdom who were accompanying them were itching to ask Wang Xian for help. Oh, a sword duel? Haha, good, good, let's make friends through swords. Wang Xian looked at Roving Sword and nodded his head with a smile. General Sword, don't be rude. On the stage, the Tiger Luan country lord shouted at the old man with dissatisfaction. Monarch, my hands are itching, my hands are itching. I can feel the sword radiance of my brothers even though I'm sitting opposite you. The old man bowed slightly and smiled at the ruler of the Tiger Luan country. It's fine, it's fine. Don't overdo it. Let's spar and prove our swordsmanship, said Wang Xian to Tiger Luan with a smile. That's good. Don't hurt our friendship. The ruler of the country of Tiger Luan pondered for a moment and nodded. He looked at Roving Sword and kindly reminded him, Brother, our sword general lives with the sword and once obtained a great opportunity for swordsmanship. Please be careful. Thank you for reminding me, King Luan. My sword is the emotionless sword Dao. Ao Jian's palm moved, and a sharp sword appeared in his hand. Haha, good, good. Meeting friends with swords can also be considered livening up the atmosphere. The sword general happily jumped to the center. Roving Sword, you just need to give some pointers. Wang Xian transmitted his voice to Roving Sword. The space here is too small. Both of you, come in and spar. With a wave of his arm, the 5 elements grindstone appeared in his hand. With a wave of his arm, a space suddenly appeared in the middle. Oh! Now what? Array formation? Treasure. The ruler of Tiger Luan looked over in astonishment. A Magus artifact, said Wang Xian with a smile. Which? The king of the Tiger Luan country was slightly surprised, and he looked towards the center. When Roving Sword and the sword general stepped inside, they immediately realized that they had entered a huge space. This space was enough for them to display their abilities. I am saber-toothed tiger. Brother, please guide me. The sword general cupped his hands, and a sword appeared in his hand as he spoke with a smile. Roving Sword, emotionless sword Dao, make your move first. Roving Sword smiled at him. All right, then I won't stand on ceremony. Sword general was very straightforward as he waved his arm. Clang. The sharp sword was unsheathed. Clang. On the opposite side, Roving Sword's palm shook, and the golden long sword in his hand was unsheathed instantly. On the opposite side, the sword of the sword general trembled and let out a wail. Take this. He widened his eyes, which were filled with astonishment, and attacked with the long sword in his hand. Bam, 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 bam. Roving Sword stood there with one hand holding the sword and the other at the back. He countered with countless moves. The laws were incomparably solid, and every collision caused the space to tremble slightly. Both of them should be at the same realm, but the sword general is completely suppressed. The other party didn't even exert any strength. He stood there with his sword unmoving. The difference in strength is obvious. The ruler of Tiger Luan country was shocked to see both of them fighting in the middle of the array. Their general of Tiger Luan demon country couldn't resist at all. The gap is too huge. Dragon King, your subordinate swordsmanship is really terrifying. The Sky Demon Grand Tutor commented to Wang Xian with slight astonishment. Roving Sword's swordsmanship has yet to be matched. However, I know that the sword general is also considered an expert in swordsmanship. Ordinary swordsmen wouldn't dare to draw their swords before my subordinate, said Wang Xian with a smile. I've lost. A minute later, the sword general's long sword fell to the ground with a mournful wail. He was stunned, picked up the long sword in his hand, and walked out of the array in a daze. Your swordsmanship isn't bad either. You're the first to draw your sword before me. Roving Sword cupped his fist at the sword general and said, I can feel the sword trembling in my hand when I hold my sword before you. The gap is too huge. The sword general shook his head bitterly. In terms of swordsmanship, my subordinate hasn't lost to anyone yet. You don't have to be so lonely, sword general. You can also spar with Roving Sword for a few more times over the next few days, said Wang Xian with a smile. Ha ha ha, great. In that case, brother Roving Sword, I might have to disturb you for the next few days. The Sword General's eyes lit up as he spoke to Roving Sword with anticipation. You're most welcome. Both of us are sword fanatics, so let's spar and learn from each other. Roving Sword nodded with a smile. Haha, great. Let me toast to you. Meeting friends through swordsmanship brought the atmosphere of the banquet to another level. The banquet lasted for 3 hours before it ended. Let me bring you to the palace where you can rest. The Sword General volunteered to bring them to their accommodations. There are 5 to 6 Fifth Order Immortal King realm experts with the Dragon King. I can't sense one of them, but he should be stronger than me. The Tiger Luan Country King's eyes flickered as he watched Wang Xian and the rest leave. Over 50 people, only one girl is a divine lord. The rest are all Immortal King realm experts. The number of deity kings in this dragon palace is not lesser than ours. The Sky Demon Imperial Tutor also sighed. Not only that, there are 2 Sixth Order Immortal King realm experts among them. They aren't any weaker than us in the past. They seem to be not bad, and can be friends. At this time, a voice suddenly rang in their ears. The Sky Demon Imperial Tutor and the Tiger Luan Country King were taken aback and nodded silently. Looks like they want to be friends with us too. We can be allies. The Tiger Luan Country King said with a smile. The Sky Demon Imperial Tutor nodded. Inside the Demon God Palace, the Sword General brought them to a luxurious palace and arranged for them to stay. A meal can last for 3 hours. How boring. Yinxian, let's go practice singing. It's your first time performing on stage in a few days. The Emperor Star Princess grumbled as she pulled Tang Yinxian into a room,